event. Obviously, I'm going to break down the entire card as well, but what better way than to run across the main event and do it live while also going back later on to cover the entire card as we break down the whole entire kicks and punches that are involved in the whole event tonight. Obviously, we are now uh, right in with Jamal Hill taking on Alex Pereira. And like I said, man, what a historic night has been. And what about Max Holloway tonight for the MVP, right? I mean, really, the guy knocked out Justin Gaethje with 1 second left. Okay, and we're gonna talk more about that as we are witnessing the main event that is happening right now as Jamal Hill literally enters the cage right now, awaiting Alex Pereira to come in. And we got a lot to also talk about even after the show. A couple of things that we're going to talk about. Obviously, there was well, I'll show you guys later a little bit of Jake Shields content, right? For lack of a better way. I don't know if I'm able to really say much about it because it is a very controversial topic, but it's also going to clear up a whole lot of different stuff as well. We're going to go through that way beyond MMA. Obviously, an MMA centric content, the biggest MMA card in the entire year, which is UFC 300. And now we are here set in the main event while we also talk about the rest of the cards as we are set here to watch the entrance of Alex Pereira as he is walking out into the cage right now. So the entire night was an absolute masterpiece. And once again, very historic because, as I've said from the very beginning, right, I had said that this whole entire card was going to be historic. And the results in and of themselves really lended itself to that particular way. Everything was just historic up and down, and everything went the way that we had expected, but then a lot of it also didn't go the way that we had expected. Now, what did I say earlier about Max Holloway, right? I said that he was going to be a very surprising underdog that was going to come out on top in this one. And did he? He absolutely did. He definitely came out on top. Now, the way that he came out on top, I think, was very surprising. And here comes Alex Pereira doing his signature little walkout, his little Muay Thai stance that he's doing. By the way, for those of you that are tapping in, don't forget to not only like and subscribe, but stay till the end because I'm going to play you guys a content that is a little bit controversial regarding Jake Shields and being called anti-Israel, sort of say, right? And this content, by the way, also involves me because it's sort of a little bit of a comment that I had made to a right wing, um, website or whatever. Not a right wing website, but more like a conservative website, right? By the way, a conservative website that I also happen to sort of follow and watch as well. But you'll see in the end. Please stay till the end, right? Stay for the main event with me and also stay for the post fight breakdowns. I'm going to break down all the fights because I've got some notes written as I was watching the whole entire fights tonight. Up until right now, we are watching live Alex Pereira and Jamal Hill for the upset, which I think is going to happen tonight. And how is it going to happen? Well, I got to tell you, I think there's going to be a well rounded skill discrepancy that you're going to see out of Jamal Hill in comparison to Alex Pereira. I think there's going to be some holes in Alex Pereira's game that's going to be exposed tonight, and we're about to find out exactly what that is. We're about to find out the extent of that particular uh, deficiency that I think Jamal Hill is going to expose because I truly believe Jamal Hill is the much more well rounded fighter. And I'm going to explain why as this fight goes on, or I could be proven wrong as we are watching this fight. Don't forget to like and subscribe. For those of you that are tapping in, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I just wanted to say that stay until the end because I have a very important and controversial topic that I wanted to share with you regarding Jake Shields and, well, a conservative online host, okay, that sort of called him out, called me out as well into the process based on just having these particular different opinions on world issues. And I think it's very interesting to bring this up, considering that UFC 300 came out on the same time that, if you guys don't know about the Israeli attack that it was happening with Iran and that conflict, it sort of all ties into all this, right? So remember, Jake Shields, controversial conservative online host, versus me and the content that I'm going to share with you right after this. I didn't want to share this in the way that I normally would on StreamYard, because right now I'm obviously doing this live stream on my phone. And usually, the way that I would do this on a StreamYard, I would play the actual video itself. So I don't know if I'm able to play this video. I will play the audio, though, which is why I sort of took this option instead. But in the meantime, we are waiting on the main event right now, and they are now being announced as we speak right now. So Alex Pereira right there with his mean stone face. So just remember, stay tuned. I'm gonna break down the full entire card, and once I break down the whole full entire card, I'm going to break down the reaction that I'm going to do for this right wing online host that attacked me and Jake Shields, right? Which I think is really interesting to share, right? Again, it deals with the differences of opinions that a lot of people have around the world, especially with the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. That in and of itself is very controversial. The topic of currently what's happening in Iran and how they attacked Israel and how all of this correlates. Please stay till the end. After this main event, we've got some explosive, even bigger content to cover, even bigger probably than this entire fight card that we're covering, or maybe not, but it is a great addition to the show as we are now witnessing the main event with Alex Pereira being announced. So now Bruce Buffer is giving the ritual announcement right now. So don't forget to like and subscribe, because I'm going to hit you guys with some hot content, and we're going to talk about all the fights that have happened tonight. How about Holly Holmes? You guys see that one? I think it was absolute pure domination on Kayla Harrison's part. I thought that she was Holly Holmes was going to put up more of a fight, but obviously that wasn't the case. It came out the way that it did, and well, Kayla Harrison said that she was looking for that title shot by the end of the year. You can't deny her. You got a champion like Raquel Pennington, right? Really not the biggest needle mover of the world, but you have somebody like Kayla Harrison, Olympic level judoka, PFL champion, transitioning into the UFC, big name. I think all the right ingredients are here for the play. So, and here comes Jamal Hill right now being announced as we are speaking right now. And here comes Jamal Hill. Now Glover Teixeira right there in the corner of Alex Pereira, looking for the revenge matchup that really trying to avenge the loss of his training partner and coach from Jamal Hill in their fight in Brazil. Now, that fight was a bit strange, right? Considering that there were fans that were leaving halfway into the matchup. I don't know what that was about. I don't know if people had to get up from work at that time, or the reason why people in that Brazilian card with Glover and Jamal Hill walked out, but it seemed very empty. It looked very reminiscent of the Apex and the Pandemic cards. But now here we are tonight, UFC 300 in Vegas. They are about to face off and commence battle in a matter of seconds. Here we go, stone face on Alex Pereira as always, and Jamal Hill just looks absolutely relaxed, gives him a little bit of a dap, looks to have all the confidence in the world walking into this fight. But at the same time, Jamal Hill also looks a tad bit nervous right here. In the background, there's John, what's that guy's name? John Morgan from MMA Fighting. I'm sorry, MMA Junkie. Here we go. Round one is about to commence. So here we are. 457, 456, 454, 453, 450, 449, 448, 447, 446. Jesus, the Messiah, died on the cross and died for our sins, but light was buried and rose again on the third day, and accepted him as your Savior for you to be forgiven by his sins and are born again. All right. Well, thank you, hallelujah, for your comment. And we all welcome all comments here. Obviously, you know my own religious affiliation, but hey, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, of course. And it is it is an interesting matchup we are seeing right now. So here comes Alex Pereira going for a little bit of that low kick, misses. A lot of people tonight have been going for those calf kicks and really were very successful, but Alex Pereira seems to be missing right here based on the fact that perhaps maybe Alex Pereira is dealing with somebody who's a great mover. Look at Jamal Hill, even though he's not very erratic in his movement. There goes a body kick, misses, sort of caught on a little bit. But Jamal Hill has these subtle steps. Now, having good footwork doesn't always mean that you're erratic in the way that you move around. Sometimes it's the small steps that you take. You see those small steps that Jamal Hill just took right now. He was able to step in, get those inside leg kicks, and really just connect with those shots in ways that Alex Pereira wasn't, where he was trying to just reach him, and Jamal Hill, geniusly enough, was able to back away. Now you see, look at the way he's circling right now. Front kick by Jamal Hill. Low kick by Jamal Hill. There we go. 255, 253, 250, 251 of the first round. There goes a little paw. High kick by Jamal Hill. So far, very good defense on both guys. 227, 226. There is a little low kick by Piera right there. Connects, pawing away at the jab of Jamal Hill, having his palms up in that type of matter. Then goes for a jab on his own right into the body. Low kick by Alex Piera. So now we're at 208, 205, 204. And don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, because I got some hot content coming your way. Oh, a little bit of a low kick there. Okay. Little warning by. Oh, he knocks down Jamal Hill. What is that? Is he going to finish Jamal Hill right here? Oh, my goodness. I was wrong the whole time. Oh, my goodness. He just finished Jamal Hill. Alex Pereira has now just finished Jamal Hill in the first round. Amazing. Amazing. Well, that was a lot shorter than what we would have expected. Still, what does that tell you about Alex Pereira tonight? What does that tell you about him? He was able to finish this fight relatively with ease. Absolute ease. He was able to finish this fight. Great credit on the part of Jamal Hill for trying, right? I mean, really just trying to stay away from his power, but eventually the power of Alex Pereira was just too much. I also think a lot of this really was predicated on the fact that Jamal Hill had been out for a while. Oh, what is this? He's now being awarded a black belt, which is strange. I mean, you're awarded a black belt for winning by strikes, but I suppose, right? I mean, I suppose it does show a bit of some grappling prowess, considering you probably put in a lot of time of grappling throughout your camp. But anyways, yeah, big credit to Jamal Hill. He tried. It's what it is. He got finished in the first round. It says more a lot about Alex Pereira than really does say about Jamal Hill, considering that Alex Pereira is just on a whole nother level right now at the 205 division. And who knows, maybe he could just go up and challenge John Jones in the process. So, wow, look at that. Just the hook right there. Left hook, and then he goes down. So, apparently, Drake, well, Drake wasn't wrong all along, was he? You got to admit, Drake had something correct here. So, Wow, yeah, he did hit him clean without even really trying. Wow, wow. That was that was way too short, right? But what do you expect, right? These fights, you never know what's going to happen, right? So take a look at just before they announce the winner. Let's take a look at what happened with Zhang and Yan earlier. Round one, it was a 10-8 round for Zhang. First round, I'm sorry, the second round was literally a 10-8 round for Yang. Yan nearly finished Zhang out in the first, and the last 10 seconds was really decent in between the rounds. Um, there's a huge cut in between, the rounds right there. Round three, Yan rocked Zhang a few times. Yan and Zhang looked exhausted by the end of the third. Zhang gets rocked by Yan. Zhang ends up getting ground and control for the entire fourth round. Zhang even more ground control in the fifth round and goes the distance. And now here's Alex Pereira now being announced the winner of this fight right now. Let's hear his post fight speech with Joe Rogan right here. So Joe is asking him, man, what an absolutely sensational performance. He asked him, is this what you had anticipated going into this fight? Now we're getting the translation in Portuguese. He said he wasn't going away from his strategy. He knew that Jamal Hill was a strong guy. But I got to tell you, man, this is a whole nother level for Alex Pereira, especially at the 205 division. He's proven himself to be really worthy of this, not only this weight class, but of this whole championship altogether. Joe's asking him how he felt about coming into a fight. What was that, like some sort of prior injury of some sort? So yeah, with the Max and Justin fight, I got to tell you, Max was hitting him with some spinning back kicks, jabs. Max was hitting him with some calf kicks as well, and Justin especially connected with some calf kicks. But within the fifth round, Max landed some combinations, switching up his speed at the end, dared him to go toe to toe with him in the same way that he did with Ricardo Lamas back in UFC 199. And here he is in UFC 300 doing the same thing in the last 10 seconds, gets a knockout. I mean, that couldn't be even more epic than that. It was literally Demetrius Johnson's status of submitting somebody in the last second of the fifth round. I mean, that's the stuff that movies are made out of. I just don't think, even with this knockout that Alex Pereira has, you could beat the performance of Max Holloway tonight. Also, that Charles Oliveira fight. Oliveira caught Armin from a sprawl position in the first round. Armin escapes the guillotine. Oliveira transitions into a full mount. He kept the mount for the entire round. Armin reversed on top, while Charles sort of got a guillotine on him, got him in his guard. illegal up kick by Charles, and then there they stood back up, right back up on the same full guard position arranged by the ref in the last minute of the first round, and the round ended with a stand up with a spinning attacks by both men. A second round versus Armin and Charles, high kick connected by Armin, looked like a moon kick or a half axe kick of some sort, right? Adding new wrinkles to his game. They get back to the clinch positions early in the round. Armin gets a takedown using his right knee to literally elevate Charles from that single to double leg position, and then total ground control from that time on. Round three, Armin changes levels, gets a takedown with literally more ground control, and looks for a crucifix only to get back the last minute of the third, really forcing Charles to fight his fight. Charles then reverses in the last 40 seconds, gets a Darce to a guillotine attempt. Armin stays composed late, and then after that gets a decision for the number one ranking of the 155 division. And of course, we can't forget about Alex Pereira's performance that we just basically did a live reaction to. We'll start back up from the beginning of the card. Okay, let's start with Cody Garbrandt tonight. Now, with Cody Garbrandt, I really wanted him to win this fight. Obviously, you guys know that Cody Garbrandt was a Sacramento guy. He had trained out here with Team Alpha Male. He knew a lot of my friends that had trained out here, was close to a lot of them, had even stayed at a few of their houses while he was training out here, in the likes of Eric Trilogy, who is now the nutritionist of Conor McGregor, Logan Paul, and Jake Paul. So I wanted him to win, right? And I thought that he had a great chance of winning. And you know what? It was a great 50-50 matchup. Two former champions meeting in the same weight class, one moving up, and that being Davison Figueroa. So the first round, Cody uh, put on a real good footwork, right? Rocked Davison a few times. Cody attempted a standing head kick, okay, where he basically does a cartwheel kick of some sort, but gets kicked in the stomach in the process. Almost got taken down on the first round. Second round, Davison took down Cody, flattened him out. Cody um, went from a ground and pound to a triangle, had it on very tight. I'm talking about Davison had it on very tight, but Cody was very calm on the bottom as he was getting close to the arm triangle, then into the full mount position. And then Davison sort of did these shoulder strikes from the top, right? Which is really interesting, to use. One of the first guys that I saw use this was Brian Ebersol. If any of you know him, he was an American wrestler who ended up training out in Australia. I've seen him use this a few times. Even Jason Mayhem Miller, I've seen him use these same shoulder strikes from the mount position. It's really quite an effective position, really, if you think about it, right? So uh, Davison Figueroa was able to get the rear naked choke in the second round after Cody had given up his back, and it was just curtains from there. As soon as the neck was exposed, Davison had basically took the opportunity for the rear naked choke opening, and it was curtains from there. Now, how about this fight right here, right? This fight was definitely sure to deliver. Okay, so Miller versus Green. Miller gets rocked a few times early in the 60 seconds into the fight. Okay. Bobby is using his trash talk and bravado to get into the head of Miller. Okay. Doing his hands down style. Okay. Green using his front kicks to really deter these strong punches that were coming from Jim Miller. Because one of the things that you have to do to mitigate somebody who's a strong puncher or a strong uh, strong puncher, or somebody who's a strong um, uh, boxer of some sort. This is what you have to do in order to mitigate distance from them. So Jim rocked Green again right at the end of that round. Round two, Green utilizes his jab, his straight rights, doing his hands down style again, jabbing from the hip. Because I got to tell you, there's a difference between jabbing when you're from this position rather than jabbing from the hip. You see, you don't see that. Whereas if you have your hands up like this, you can kind of see that even if I'm going slow or I'm going fast, you see that it's coming. But if I'm from here, you don't know that it's coming. You see that? It's right here. My hands are down. Boom. You don't know that it's coming. Hands are down. You don't know that it's coming. As opposed to when you're up here, you see it coming. This is what Bobby Green does. You don't see it coming. But what most guys do when they throw a jab, it's like this. You see it coming because you see the hands right here. Now, what Sean Strickland once mentioned in a training session, which I think is really important to keep in mind. He said, in order to see where the hands are going, watch where the elbows are at. Because where the elbows are at, that's where the movement is at. With Bobby Green, you can't see his elbows. So it's literally a punch that is really deceptive. So utilizes those straight jabs, hands down from his hip. Miller uh, made Miller bleed eventually, right? Because those straight punches, even though he's not winding up power shots, these straight little punches and straight shots really are the ones that cut you up the most, right? Using the counter fighting style. Okay, gave one round to Miller, the second to Green. The third round, Miller complains that he can't see in his right eye. So Bobby Green, straight hands are still in effect. Okay, so by the end of the round, Green dares Miller to brawl with him. Okay, and as a result, Miller gets rocked. Blood splatters on Sean Shelby and the matchmakers, Gray Maynard on cage side. Then Green takes Miller down to perhaps maybe solidify the points as a result of the cards, perhaps. So what happens? Bobby wins by unanimous decision. Joe Rogan says one of Bobby Green's greatest performance. What does Bobby Green do in the process? He calls out Paddy Pimblett for a UFC Manchester summer card. Real genius on the part of Bobby Green, methodical all the way from his fighting style was methodical. The way that he approached the fight was methodical, and even the call out projecting his next fight and his next career trajectory was just absolutely on point and really on brand with everything that Bobby Green was about. And not only that, really solidified his position for a big money fight. Because let's face it, even though Patty Pimblett may not be, let's say, the most quintessentially how do I say this? May not be the most highly ranked fighter. He's a money fight because of the type of attention that he garnered. So we move on. We have Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. In round one, Andrade's got some really good leg kicks. Marina slips, and it was just complete ground control from there. Andrade for the first round, Marina had a had a dance attempt, but a Darce attempt. I'm sorry, but the Darce didn't work without those legs basically locking into the body. Right? Marina caught Andrade a few times with a knee. The Pereira KO was crazy. Absolutely. I'm going to get to that, Dinkelstein. I'm also going to get to the main event right now on Andrade right now. I did the live main event. I don't know if you were here for that, but yeah, I'm going through the entire card right now. Before that, I was going over Bobby Green. And one of the main things that I talked about with Bobby Green is his jab. You can't see it, as opposed to when you have your hands up like this versus your hands down, you don't see it. But then if you have your hands down, if you have your hands up, you see it. But if you have your hands down, you don't see it come in. And that's sort of Bobby Green's style and how he was able to cut up Jim Miller. But with Andrade, Andrade threw bombs with techniques out the door. Really no patience after like the first round, right? What did Marina do? Use her Muay Thai and her clinches and use her front kicks to back her away, right? Because this is one thing that you have to do with a strong puncher. You have to deter them with straight shots or front kicks or anything long. A type of weapon that deals with a spear or a jab or a long type of attack of some sort, which again is what a jab and front kicks are. Um, so round three, it was a jab fest by Marina. She got rocked one time, and the rest was spent on the ground. Was spent literally the round coasting. Okay, with a boxing match decision result that goes to Andrade. I think the reason why Andrade won this fight is her use of aggression, her constant leg kicks, ground control that basically won this fight. Very limited percentage connected by Marina, but the volume and fake jabs I think has a lot to do with it. Now, you often notice there is a low percentage in certain fights, right? Where somebody is, let's say, throwing a lot, right? Well, the reason why they have a low percentage in their strikes is because of the volume that they pull. And sometimes that volume helps you open up other shots. And again, in the world of statistics, I think that's kind of where, strategy and the counting of metrics and statistics really don't add up, right? But by the end of the day, the aggression of Andrade is ultimately what won her this fight. But also with that same aggression, it got her leverage positions as well. If you notice, all the times that she had knocked down Marina, she was able to get on the ground and basically give her some ground control as a result. Now, moving on with Moicano and Jalen Turner. So Jalen Turner rocks Moicano's body within the first round. Moicano, desperate for a takedown, gets the trip. A few minutes got Jalen stuck in a half guard position. Jalen got out by 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the round, kickboxed the whole entire round until Jalen got rocked by Moicano in the last 30 seconds. So this was a back and forth with both of them. And you know it's a good fight when both guys are able to rock each other. Round two seemed even on the feet at the start of the second. Okay. So what did Jalen do? Jalen gets clipped early from Moicano, but Moicano keeps going. Went for a takedown double leg this time. Now it's back on the ground. Half guard, half ground fighting position. Half of the fight at this point was on the ground fighting position majority of the round. Took about three-quarters of amount, which means what? It means that if Jalen would have been facing him, it would have resulted in a full mount leverage. So it was more like the reason why Moicano was keeping it in a half guard position is so he could keep him stuck there in that half guard position. While Jalen still feels safe and Moicano still feels he can work from that position, but eventually got the full mount hitting him with big shots, and the fight ends with a TKO with that end of Moicano. Post fight, he says he loves America, shouts out his podcast, was saying a whole bunch of things that looked like ESPN was sort of blocking out, and then calls Joe Rogan, how about this, to be a guest on his podcast. And it was genius because it puts Joe Rogan on the spot. Now you can't say no to him because if you do, well, it's going to make you look really bad. And again, he was really hyped for the post fight speech in that one. So Sadiq Youssef versus Diego Lopez. Moving on. Round one. Lopez started out the round with some calf kicks, then rocks Youssef, by the way, twice, with uppercuts from Lopez. Finishes the fight early, just as the commentators mentions Youssef's voiceover in a Disney cartoon. By the way, this literally was Lopez's 22nd career finish, okay, resulting in a first round TKO within 1 minute and 29 seconds of the first round, and the rest was history. Now, Holly Holmes versus Kayla Harrison. Were you impressed by this debut by Kayla Harrison? To be honest, I was. And a lot of people would probably say, well, you know what? This was a shell of Holly Holmes' old self. Not so fast. I don't know if I would go there. Holly with trips early on. Kayla reverses on the ground into the standing clinch, goes for the elbows after she takes her down to the ground, half guard position. By the way, something I noticed tonight, half guard positions seem to be a very important position when it comes to really maintaining, right? I don't know, for one reason or another. I think it's just been the common trend nowadays, right? And honestly, a half guard position is really safe because you're not in a full guard position where somebody has their full legs around you, where they could cut out your circulated breathing patterns, but also catch you with, let's say, a triangle choke of some sort, right? It's a very safe position to be in a half guard. So, again, a common trend for a lot of people, right? Uh, goes for the elbow in a ground and pound position from the half guard. Okay, with Kayla, most of the takedowns and mostly throws within this fight happening, right? Second round, Kayla gets a head kick. By the way, a head kick that she connects looks like the type of head kick that Holly Holmes put on Rousey, which was ironic, right? Then takes Holly Holmes down, transitions on her back, small ground and pound shots, opens up for a rear naked choke. Holly Holmes gets choked in the second round. Kayla and Holly, I don't know if people had seen this, they were sort of praying together post fight, hugging it out. And as a result, it came out to 147 in the second round for Kayla Harrison to get that submission win. Now, with Aljo versus Cater, not much to really say about this particular fight, right? Why? I got to tell you, with this particular fight, Aljo started off on the feet. Then next thing you know, he shoots off for a double leg or single leg takedown. I mean, it was just one after another. It was basically a rinse and repeat type of performance, right? But again, big ups to Aljo. He did what he had to do to win. I think sort of showing new wrinkles to his game. And what do I mean by that? Well, here's the thing about it, right? You usually see him strike very well at the 135 division. But in the 145 division, what propelled him to use his grappling? Is it just because he knows that Calvin Cater is a dangerous striker, a knockout artist, a guy that has hands, a guy that will throw and brawl with you? Maybe he wanted to mitigate the danger, or maybe he just wanted to get the rounds in, or maybe it was just nerves. But either way, it was a rinse and repeat performance by Aljo. Stands up, sort of fakes with the punches and kicks, shoots for a single leg takedown. Does that from round one all the way to round three, all the same. Moving on, we go to Jerry and Rakic. Rakic gets off a few calf kicks in the first round, switches stances, Jiri rocks him momentarily with a flying knee attempt. This is all in round one, by the way. Jiri then comes back for the second round for the finish. Comes back out of nowhere, right? Which tells you what about Jiri? He really is a samurai, at least in the spirit of it all. And everything Rakic says, well, by the end of it, it's just nothing more than just banter, right? So again, it's just what it is. But he proved otherwise. Like, you know what? He does have a samurai fighting spirit for whatever that's worth. Then we're on to Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. First round, mostly ground control by Bo Nickel. Big swings by Cody Brundage, only for the counter wrestling of uh, Bo Nickel to come in. Second round seemed like Cody B wanted to build up some rounds, or I'm sorry, Bo Nickel wanted to build up some rounds. Seems like the longest UFC fight he's had up until this point, right? He booed himself after the fight, expecting more of a domination. He ends up winning anyway, right? Gets the finish. But after he gets that domination, then he calls out Anthony Hernandez, which, by the way, I thought was really brilliant. It was brilliant call out. Now, obviously, Anthony Hernandez lives out here in Sacramento. I could only imagine what he was thinking when he was at home watching this, thinking, man, maybe I just hit the jackpot, or maybe I'm the guy that can potentially really derail this guy's hype. In the same similar fashion that a lot of those guys in Bellator sort of derailed the hype of Anthony Pico, or I'm sorry, Aaron Pico, early in his career. But again, Bo Nichols seemed disappointed in his performance, but I don't know what for. He was in there with a seasoned veteran in the game of MMA. This is just what it is, right? You go in there with somebody that's seasoned, they're going to give you a little bit of a hard time. But man, the finish just wasn't enough for him to be impressed by. He felt that it was a bit lackluster for whatever that's worth. But great call out for Bo Nickel on Anthony Hernandez. So we move on to Charles Oliveira versus Armin Sarukian. First round, Oliveira catches Armin from a sprawl position, escapes a guillotine. Okay, so Oliveira transitions into a mount, kept the mount for half of the round. Armin reversed on top of Charles's guard, and then they stood right back up. Back up in the same full guard position, arranged by the ref, by the way, after what seemed to be an illegal up kick of some sort. So within the last minute of the round ended for the stand up for both men, literally throwing spinning attacks at each other, right? Second round, Armin Sarukin connects with a high kick. Connects, by the way, with an axe kick of some sort, something that you use in Taekwondo. They get back on the clinch position early in the round. Armin gets a takedown using, once again, what I mentioned earlier, a right knee to elevate Charles as he is picking him up, right? And then from that on, second round, it was just total ground control on the part of Armin Sarukian. Now in the third round, Armin changes levels, gets a takedown, more ground control on the entire round, side control, looks like he was looking for a crucifix position, only to get the back of Charles Oliveira in the last minute of the third round, really forcing the fight. Charles then reverses it in the last 40 seconds, gets a Darce, transition it to a guillotine attempt. Armin stays composed late and then gets a decision right after just surviving that submission attempt, probably getting the number one ranking spot sometime in Tuesday. Now, moving on to Max and Justin, which, by the way, in my humble opinion, is not only the BMF of the entire card, but the MVP of the entire card. I mean, how can you beat that? A 5 round, 1 second left for you to get a knockout. That right there is absolutely historic. Spinning back kicks and jabs from Max and some calf kicks connected by Justin all throughout from round 1 to round 5. Traditional kickboxing match from then on. Max, with the combination while switching up the speed, dared him to bang in the last 10 seconds like he did in the Ricardo Lamas fight, which, by the way, took place in UFC 189. Last second, the last second of the first was basically the knockout, right? This, you can't beat a knockout like that. He dared him. He's like, let's go, let's go. And the next thing you know, of course, you dare Justin to do anything, he's gonna fall for it, right? Especially with that type of style. What happens? He gets knocked out in the process, and who knows what the scorecards would have been on that. But even then, Max was winning that fight, and he didn't have to do that. It was very risky, but nonetheless, hey, no risk, no glory, and he took the risk, and my goodness, he took all the glory as a result of it. Fire in the fifth round, Max changed up his combinations and his speed. This is another thing that's really important with Max. He has one speed that he goes at, and then eventually he goes and basically turns it up or slows it down. And then when he gets you hurt, he turns it up. And I mean, it's just amazing the way that he just put those combinations together. Jan versus Zhang. So I've talked about this earlier. Obviously, Jan nearly went out in the first round. Last 10 seconds was really dazed. By the way, in between the rounds, the cutmen tried to wake her up with smelling sauce. If that's even legal to do, I mean, you would think that's a stoppage at that point if they're not able to continue, right? Was it just because the submission is what sort of debilitated her that somehow that was the case? I don't know, man. But the second round, it was a 10-8 round for Zhang. She was dominating that round. Third round, Yan rocked Zhang a few times. Yan and Zhang looked exhausted by the end of this third round. Fourth round, Zhang gets rocked by Yan. Zhang ends up getting ground control for all of the fourth round. Fifth round, Zhang more grappling control, takes it to the distance, wins the fight as a result of the first China versus China women's strawweight division fight. And then obviously tonight you had Jamal Hill taking on Alex Pereira. Now, I was wrong about this one. And I'll admit when I'm definitely wrong about this one, but I'm also going to talk about other wrongs that are going on in the world. I'm going to talk about, well, let me see if you guys can hear this audio right here. Let me see here. I want to test this out real quick. Hold on just a second. We're still no. You know what? We'll do that later. Hold on. There is a hold on a second. There is a press conference going on. Let's hear this. In the meantime, was Dana White on yet? No, Dana White was not on yet. Nobody has been on the press conference yet. Okay, the press conference table seems to be ready, so we're gonna check that out in just a little bit while it's going on. Right now, Max is on the podium right now talking to Brett Okamoto post fight. Let's take a look at the stats because obviously I broke down the entire fight card just now. I'm going to take a look at the stats for the entire fight card. By the way, a fight card that I've been covering now for well over 3 to 4 weeks. Sure, did I do predictions for other fights as well? Yes, I did. But in the meantime, I was also doing predictions for UFC 300 for the past 4 weeks, right? I was just talking nonstop about this entire card. And rightfully so, it really delivered. And just like what I said on the lead up, guys, what did I say? On the lead up, I said that this was going to be a sleeper of a card, right? A lot of people were going to sleep on it. They weren't going to give it the respect that it deserves. But by the end of the day, it came through and delivered perfectly as it should have. Okay. So there's something to really think about. All right. We got a few subscribers now from the channel. Thank you to all those that have tapped in. Thank you to all those that are subscribing. So let's take a look at the stats for tonight. Okay. Because obviously I had went over the entire card and its breakdowns. So let's see here. With Cody Garbrandt, there was one takedown from Davison Figueroa, 77% of his total strikes versus Cody with 54%. Significant strikes, 68% for Davison, 51 for Cody Garbrandt. Bobby Green and Jim Miller, there were no takedown attempts. One takedown attempt by Bobby Green by the end of the fight, as we had remembered, 58% strikes on Bobby Green, 40% for Jim Miller. Jalen Turner Moicano, 68% total strikes for Moicano, 40% for Jalen Turner. 2 out of 6 attempts by Renato Moicano. Jessica Andrade, one takedown out of the whole entire fight, one submission attempt by Marina Rodriguez, 56% on strikes for Andrade, 39% for Marina Rodriguez. And what else here? Holly Holmes, Kayla Harrison, 2 out of 5 takedown attempts by Kayla Harrison, none for Holly Holmes. Let's see, Calvin Cater, 8 takedowns in total by Aljamain Sterling. Right, really just shot down all of Calvin Cater's games by just straight grappling this whole entire fight. Jerry and Rakic looked like he had a great plan going into that fight. Obviously, the calf kicks were doing a few numbers uh, on Jerry, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Wasn't enough because Jerry was able to come back, withstand all that pain, and still get a finish as a result of that. So let's see here. When you guys can hear this. I've heard the shit you said about me, you little fucker. Okay. So let me see if I can you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go to this in just a little bit. I'm gonna play a reaction to what this conservative online host said about me and Jake Shields, right? Which I think is really interesting. I thought it was I thought it's an interesting way to sort of add to this content, right? But we'll talk more about the fights. Obviously, we just talked about the fights. We witnessed all of them. Uh, what is this? So Anthony Smith was saying that Max felt like he had to be perfect the whole entire time. Yeah, he was absolutely right. I don't know if he needed to be perfect or that's just the way Max Holloway fights most of the time anyway. Max Holloway fights in a way where it seems like absolute perfection depending on who his opponent is. So that's something to think about. I think it just depends who his opponent is and the type of a trajectory the fight is going in order for him to look either perfect or not perfect. But again, with Max, it's either he's going to look very perfect or he's going to look like what he does against Dustin Poirier, right? That's just Max Holloway in a nutshell, to be really honest with you. So let's see here. Wow, so Chael is calling for Max Holloway to defend a BMF. How interesting is that, huh? All right, let's see here. Yeah, you know what? Come to think of it, nobody has truly defended the BMF belt, right? So I don't know why that is, but let's see here. Hold on just a second. Just wanted to by the way, don't forget guys, I'm also going to share you this content that I'm just looking at the post fight show here just to see what else we can talk about just to make sure we're not missing anything cuz I plan on running this content for maybe a few more hours or so just to kind of see where we're at, just to see what we can do and just to see what we can talk about. So hold on just a second here. Okay. All right. Okay, so we can keep going. Yeah, this is definitely something we can keep going for just a second. Okay. All right. So okay, so let's see here. Oh, there goes Justin Gaethje with a bit of that old school Justin highlight little backflip that he does. Right? It sort of reminds me of like a wrestling move in a way, right? You know, it's sort of like doing a backflip off a diving board, but it's a way to kind of, attack you, right? So that's quite an interesting move right there. And then look at this. He just knocks him out face plant first, right? That's crazy how he was able to just knock him out like that. So wow, okay. Okay, let me see if I just want to make sure you guys can hear this. Okay. Let me see if I can play this. Just make sure that this is
And you think that I don't know? You don't think I know the shit you've said about me, but you suck my dick all the time and say how great I am and I'm your buddy and read this and read that, but you talk shit.
okay. You guys can hear this. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. So maybe. Okay. Maybe I need to turn it up a little bit. Hold on.
About my back. The worst thing you could have fucking possibly done was pretty much, in not so many words, call me a Jew lover. How fucking dare you? So you can keep it.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to play that just to make sure that you guys can hear that. So, okay, for those of you that are watching right now, obviously I went over the whole entire fight card, right? Now, we're going to go into the swing bout main event of the evening. And what exactly is the swing bout main event of the evening? Well, for those of you that don't know what a swing bout is, it is literally what happens in boxing when, let's say, somebody. Oh, hold on. Let's react first to Dana White.
What's up, guys?
Okay. Hold on a second. Let's react to Dana White.
Sold out. Gate was 16.5 million, third highest gate in UFC history. Fight of the night was Gaethje versus Holloway.
All right. Gaethje versus Holloway.
Of the night
that made sense why they are the fight of the night. Why would they not be?
$600,000. Well deserved.
Wow, $600,000 for both guys, huh?
On bonuses, but knowing that they were 300 grand a piece, it was a little more difficult tonight figuring out where to assign that money. It wasn't difficult at all. If you were watching these fights tonight, it was pretty clear. But this was one of those special nights. Obviously, I'm going to take care of Figueiredo. I'll take care of Lucano, Diego, Kayla. Take care of those guys too.
All right. So Dana White is saying that he's willing to take care of some people tonight.
Feeling like they got what they deserved. Well, you set out to make this the greatest night in combat sports history. I did. We're the bells and whistles guys. We do all the, and then once the show starts, it's out of our hands and it's up to them. And when you have a night that looks like the greatest night ever in combat sports on paper, and then absolutely fucking delivers. Best.
Talk about, a lot to talk about, but I guess let me just start with Max Holloway, the $600,000 winner. I mean,
He's outside right now on the phone with Justin Gaethje right now. We were talking to Gaethje on the phone, and Holloway walked out, and they're both talking on the phone right now. And fucking Holloway is walking. Holloway is walking. Nobody?
Yeah, that's crazy. Those leg kicks were insane.
Oh, yeah. Dana White is surprised that Holloway was walking even after those leg kicks.
3D, you know, and he's walking. And when you think about we were sitting in that room and we created the BMF, we came up with that tonight, totally embodied what that belt was built for. And there should be a picture of that fight in the fucking dictionary when you look up BMF.
Wow. Dana White said that fight should be in a dictionary when you look at BMF.
It happened to you guys too, but that fight sucked the fucking life out of everybody tonight. I was like, everybody was, the next two fights, everybody was sitting there like dead. Like it was like this adrenaline dump. It was incredible. It's like, people always ask me what I do. I sell holy shit moments for a living, right? Tonight. Holy shit than that.
Absolutely. Yep.
And that's why
Dana White said that he sells holy S moments.
So that's why Max Holloway is beloved. And Gaethje. Max, how many times have you seen a fight where the guy wins, you know he's winning, they click the 10-second thing and the guy puts his hands up and they just run around, move around? He's got the fight won, and he's in there one of the most dangerous fucking fighters in the business, right?
He's right.
And he says, let's do this. And they both fucking oblige, and they go in and just start. 1 second left, and a knockout like that. That's like movie shit.
Absolutely. Absolutely like movie stuff.
It's the fight of the year. If something beats that fight of the year, holy shit. I don't want to see the two guys that are involved in that fight at the end of the fight.
I love it. Well, you talked about the BMF title, right? In the beginning, it was one and done, and, people always did a gimmick or whatever. Like you said, what we saw out there tonight was insane. Does this change your perception of
I never said it was a gimmick. I fucking did it. I didn't say it was a gimmick. I don't give a shit what anybody else says. Yeah. Fuck you. Tonight, that's what the fucking BMF is all about, and I'm glad we did that belt, and, yeah.
So Max is calling
it's here to stay.
A featherweight title, a lightweight title. He'd probably take them both in the same night.
He should get both.
Holloway now? The guy is just an unbelievable star.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll put something good together for him. I agree with you. He was a star coming in here, and he took himself to an entirely different level after tonight, man. Tonight was a career-defining moment for a guy who has already accomplished so many great things.
That's right.
One of the greatest featherweights of all time, and if not the greatest, and what he did tonight.
Right. Like you said,
he's always talking about how he's got the best hands in the UFC. And then
he does. I agree with him.
So, yeah. Fucking awesome, man. I can't say enough good things about both of those guys and that fight.
It would be easy to talk about only that. Last thing I'll ask, I just want to ask you about Alex Mejia in the main event. A pretty good accomplishment there as well, defending that belt. What do you think about his performance? And he reveals, hey, man, Brazil would be nice. Heavyweight would be nice. So what do you think of his performance, and what do you think of where he goes? Because he's becoming a huge star, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex Mejia did say if he leaves this fight unscathed, he'd want to fight in Brazil.
Didn't come in here, thinking Jamal came to win. Thought he was going to win. And the other thing, I don't know, you guys don't know this yet, but I'll tell you. I just found out when I went up in the octagon because I saw him messing around with his foot. He broke his toe 2 weeks ago. And he fought tonight with a broken toe. I thought he broke his toe in the fight. His team's like, no, he broke his fight 2 weeks ago. He's like, yeah, I ain't losing this opportunity for a fucking pinky toe. That's what he said. So, props to him for that, too. And yes, he's a big star. And
you entertain heavyweight?
Incredible.
Yeah, Alex Mejia did say if he leaves.
Don't lie. Don't any of you fucking guys lie to me. Who thought Max was going to win tonight? Raise your hand.
I did. Right. I knew Max was going to win, and this is the exact reason why. He just had the right boxing style to take on somebody like Justin Gaethje.
You know, you got Jones, you got Aspinall, and the list goes on in that heavyweight division. Heavyweight division is nasty. I don't know if that's the right move for him. He looked damn good tonight in the division he's in, so I think you might want to stick around there for a minute. But I don't know. These are all things that we'll talk about for the next 15 Tuesdays. You know what I mean? So we'll get it figured out.
Dana, you posted the finish to Max and Justin on your social media, so obviously that's pay-per-view finish that you let people see for free. Do you do that just because you're so excited and you want to share it, or because you think this could make Max into a massive star just using a separate?
How do you not post that? I mean that needs to be shared. We posted it. ESPN posted it. We all posted it. You probably all posted it too.
Stay tuned. I got more.
Fucking post it.
Okay? Stay tuned.
It's officially permission. In the co-main event,
I'm getting notes. This has never
Dana
happened
White's
before.
getting some notes right now.
trying to read them.
June 1st, Newark, New Jersey pay-per-view. Main event, Islam versus Poirier. Co-main event, 5 rounds, Strickland versus Costa. June 29th. Conor versus Chandler.
It has been announced.
5
Conor
rounds,
versus
170
Chandler.
pounds. Who's got the next question?
I'll take it. Dana, thank you.
Conor
Just dropping
McGregor
that nugget on us.
has been
The
announced
Conor Chandler fight, obviously a fight that's been
as
for ages.
the main event for June versus Michael Chandler, and it's going to be at 175.
Well, it's not that we've been working on it for ages. You know, there's all kinds of things that go on behind the scenes. You know, it's all about timing. Chandler's been ready, but Conor hasn't been ready. Conor, we talked about this at one of the press conferences recently. He had a lot of obligations that he had to deal with. What you don't want him doing is accepting a fight when he's got a ton of obligations and he can't train 100% for a fight. So here we are tonight.
Obviously, he suffered that traumatic leg injury in his last fight, and he has said that when he comes back, it'll be the greatest comeback in sporting history. If he was to come back and win that fight, would it be one of the best comebacks considering the injury he suffered?
Well, I think when you look at that injury, it's happened in UFC. We just saw Chris Weidman come back. Anderson came back from it.
So June 29th, Conor McGregor will be fighting.
It's probably one of the nastiest injuries that you could possibly get, you know. For some reason, you know, you see guys with broken arms all the time and stuff like that happens. It's hard for us as humans to wrap our brain around that bone breaking. That's just it's a nasty injury.
That is quite a horrible injury, though.
It's a really rough recovery. I mean, any guys that saw, there's a football guy that did it. Bunch of football fans in here, huh? Whatever his fucking name is, anyway. If you saw the piece that they did on him trying to recover from that injury, it's pretty nasty. Huh?
Yeah, that was it, right?
Alex Smith.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're referencing a bunch of football players that had a similar injury to Conor.
I want to talk to you about one of the most savage moments I've ever witnessed in my life. That moment where Pereira just moves Herb Dean away without even looking at him. He didn't even take his eyes off Jamal Hill. What did you think about that insane moment? And 10 seconds later, knocking him out, of course.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. I thought you were talking about what he did after he knocked him out. Yeah. So, well, you left the part out. He got hit in the groin. He tried to stay. He's like, and then knocks him out. Yeah, I agree with you, sir. That was incredibly gangster.
Congratulations on an absolutely amazing event.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Dana White back here.
Yes.
So as a fan, in a fan perspective, what meant most to you, and what did you like most? UFC 100, 200, or 300?
300's tough to top. You know what I mean? Obviously, hitting 100 was Lorenzo and I in the old days, we used to do 5 shows a year, right?
I remember.
So when you think about, we always knew we wanted to do more events. Never do you think that you're going to end up doing.
Stay tuned. We have more.
Push and do more. Everybody say you can't do it. That's too many fights. Then the fans and the media start to go, it's too much now. And when you're putting on great fights, there's never too many fights. As long as you're putting on good quality fights, there's never too many. So Lorenzo and I never dreamed in a million years. We thought we'd be like 90 when we hit UFC 100. So when we did it as quick as we did, obviously that was a huge milestone for us. But I mean, in the history of me doing this type of work, I don't know what tops 300. So mission accomplished.
And from a promoter standpoint, do you ever just take a look
That's
back
how good
and
300
say,
was.
okay, when I first became the president of the company, when we first purchased the company, did you ever fathom that you would get to 300 events? I mean,
By the way, breaking news, Conor McGregor and Chandler now assigned for June 29th.
single major promotion fell by the wayside, especially the ones that were bigger at the time, maybe Pride. But, you know, do you ever give yourself your flowers, give yourself a pat on the back for what you have done for the sport, and just take a look back? And
I say this all the time. I have no rear view mirrors in life. I just keep looking forward, and I'm always thinking about how much bigger it could be and what else we need to do. And I don't ever think about that stuff. Obviously, I'm very happy with what we've accomplished, and me and my team. And you know, I think that every year that we keep beating what we did last year, keep becoming more successful. Me and my team become closer and stronger every year, and that's a very scary thing.
And one more question for me. Mark Coleman, obviously with the BMF title, he's now a hero in not just wrestling and the MMA community, but a hero across the world.
He's a superhero.
I love him. So do you plan on continuing the relationship with him, especially because what you've done for the sport and part of that generation to help build the sport to what it is today?
Nah, not that he just did what he did. I'm going to fucking kick him to the curb and never talk to him again. Nah, I'm done with Mark Coleman. Of course I'm going to have a great relationship with Mark Coleman. He's one of the nicest guys in the world. He's a legend in the sport. He just saved, you know, his parents from a burning building and went back in and tried to get his dog, you know, and could have died. You know, Mark's been through a lot of things in his life. He's battled some demons, and he won. Or he's winning, I should say, right now. I don't know if you ever win battling demons, but he's winning. And I think he's got a great relationship with his kids, and he's in a good place, man. So I'm happy for him. It was an honor to honor him tonight.
Dana, just down to your right. Dana?
Yep.
I believe you said after the Paris.
Yeah, you feel the presence of the left hook and all that, but you feel the presence of his force. And I think that's part of it. He actually does bring that where he kind of dominates you. He makes you will play almost. You know, where he's kind of like the
Oh, what is going on? What happened to the audio with Dana White here? Hold on a second.
Okay,
For you.
Okay, let's get the audio for Dana White here for just a second. They got Teddy Atlas now in the desk at ESPN. That's interesting. Well, what happened to the sound? There's no sound. They cut the sound off. I don't know what Dana White is talking about over there, but they got the sound off for every single one of the feeds right now. We have no idea what they are talking about. We can't hear you. Even everybody on the audio right now is just going muted. It's muted. What's going on here? Oh, here we go. We're back on.
He's easy to deal with, and
Okay, here we go. Dana's back.
Connor's always been easy to deal with. He's
Yeah, so Dana is basically saying that Conor McGregor is easy to deal with.
And Conor is a die-hard UFC guy and will be until he retires and beyond.
I believe Ian Gary said him and Colby have agreed to fight. Would that be a good fight for that Conor McGregor card?
I don't know. We'll figure that out on many Tuesdays over the next several weeks. That's all the fights that I have for you now, the ones that I just announced.
And just wondering if you saw Amanda Nunes' reaction.
I did. I like it. I thought she retired too soon anyway. I like that she's intrigued by this fight. I love it. And I love Amanda.
Amanda Nunes.
And, I think she's the GOAT in all combat sports, female. So if Kayla can get in there and win a title, it would absolutely be fun to see her come back and try to grab it again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right
Yeah,
there.
you're right. I'm going off of that. What did you make of Kayla's performance? And on the flip side, what do you do with
Now they're asking her about
Yeah, let me tell you what. So going in against the
asking
legend
about
like
Kayla
Holly,
Harrison
right?
here.
Got tons of time in the octagon, and I don't care what level Kayla Harrison has competed at. I guarantee you, she had some serious jitters tonight, and she came in there, she performed, and she literally put it to an absolute legend in all of combat sports. So. Obviously, a big night for her and a big win, and I would love to see Holly retire.
Cyborg also tweeted that she wants the winner of Amanda.
So he's calling for Holly Holmes' retirement. Hey, I say why not? I mean, she's had a good career. I don't know where else she can go from here, but
She definitely did. Yeah, I mean, she was. I mean, another gangster fight. Those two. The problem for those two is it was the fight that was before it. Those guys both fought a great fight tonight, and she was choked out, but she stood up and she walked back to her corner, and yeah.
And what did you make of Jalen's walk-off KO? That
I know, man. He's gonna regret that one for the next few weeks. Beautiful shot. Should have jumped on him and finished him. And yeah, I feel sorry for the kid.
And then Diego Lopes wants to fight June 29th against Mozart, and he wants to fight in Sphere against someone like Ilya or Brian or something like that.
I love it. I love it. We'll see what happens. I listen. How badass is that kid? How fun and exciting is he? That kid's going to be an absolute superstar. So, I listen. When guys say, "Hey, I want to fight here, there, and everywhere," I love that shit. So I'm looking forward to it.
Dina, any update going back to Canada at all? Canadian fans are wondering.
Not right here off the top of my head. I can't think of any. No. Yes, we will, but no, not right here, right now, off the top of my head. Yeah.
I know you talked about UFC Hawaii for a long time. You said it's kind of impossible, but I know that you're looking to go to Hawaii for Power Slap. But
Yep.
with Max Holloway being such a legend, like, do you feel like you have to bring him to Hawaii?
Let me ask you a question. I have how many employees do we have now? 550. You think all 550 of my employees don't want to go to fucking Hawaii and do a fight? Believe me, we do. I want to go to Hawaii. Hawaii has been good to this company, good to this sport for a very long time. Max Holloway is an I mean, we're talking tonight. The kid went to a whole nother level tonight, and he was already a superstar. They don't have the infrastructure for a fight over there. We can't do it.
Even if it's just like a little fight night, a cramped little Apex event like in Hawaii, like, wouldn't the atmosphere just be off the wall for Max Holloway?
Yeah, but there's more to it than that. There's more to it than just going and doing a little. You're not going to go to Hawaii and do an Apex fight night. You know what I mean? Might as well fucking stay here and let them fly over here. And it doesn't make sense. What were you going to say?
Stay tuned. I got more hot content regarding the Jake Shields stuff after this Dana White, and then we're going to continue to cover the rest of the fight. But stay tuned, okay?
PF Bellator could. You know, PF Bellator was here on Friday. Did anybody know that? You're the media guys. I didn't know till fucking Friday.
That's right, they were.
Tickets, buy two, get two free. I'm not busting on them. That's a fucking fact. They put out a memo, buy two, get two free. You're having a bad fucking week if those are the memos you're putting out. There were more people in my fucking green room tonight than there were at the fight.
Finally, Bo Nickel, what do you think of his performance?
Incredible. Looked great. The thing you got to understand about that kid, he's 5-0. Fought a guy with 15 fights, and he went out there. He's a fucking 2001 favorite, and looked like it. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of pressure on him right now. He's got all these expectations, and I think that some of the people feel like he's getting this preferential treatment. No, we believe in the kid. We think that he's going to be a stud. We think he's going to be a star. So he's handling this pressure really, really well. You know what I mean? He's got the type of pressure on him that after he wins against the guy who has 15 fights and he has 5, and he finishes them, he says thumbs down. I said, kid, you got to stop putting that kind of pressure on yourself. You just come out and do what you do. Just keep fucking doing what you do. Keep winning. You look great. Block out all this fucking bullshit and noise. And yes.
Going back to Amanda and Kayla, would you ever consider doing that fight as a BMF title fight for women?
Well, if they did it, it would be for the belt. It would be for the championship.
But neither of them hold the title.
Well, they won't fight right now. I think what Amanda was saying, interesting. Let's see how this plays out. If she wins the belt, then maybe I come back. That's what I read from it. I don't think she was saying, "Hey, let's BMF this." I think she wants to come back and maybe see if she can regain her title. And then it's one of those things. And she's brilliant. She's brilliant for this because she's already looked at as the GOAT, right? And then you have this scary new woman that comes in and she destroys Holly Holm. Can she win the title? Can she get through Pena and Raquel? And if she does, for her to come back again and then possibly win this fight, it's impossible to deny her.
And there was also a moment where Armin, it looked like he was punching somebody in the crowd during his walkout.
Yeah, you might not want to hang over the things and grab people when they're walking out. These guys are all.
Oh wow, Armin Tsarukyan.
And whatever.
How about that? Armin Tsarukyan punched somebody on his way out to the cage. Hey, that's what you get. You don't go mess with people that are, you know what I mean? You don't go out and mess with people that are walking out to a cage fight.
Back in the win column, obviously he's still highly ranked. Can you talk a little bit about what your plans may be for him going forward?
I have no clue. You know what? I feel bad for those two. That was the fight of the night until the BMF fight happened. That was another. Let's talk about that fight. Thank you, sir. These poor kids, they went out there and fucking went to war, man. I mean, Racket looked incredible. He was picking them apart. Prohaska comes back and wins the fight. You know, place is going crazy. Unbelievable fight. That was fight of the night. So the insanity happened.
So Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler is going to be announced for UFC 303 at June 29th at International Fight Week. Obviously, this was a card that Conor McGregor had already announced himself, but obviously the UFC wanted to wait until they were going to do that on their own. By the way, stay tuned. I'm going to be doing that content reaction to this conservative online host that sort of attacked me and Jake Shields. I thought it's interesting to bring up because there's some objective truth and some subjective realities to this particular content. I wanted you guys to check that out. I'm going to be doing it here, and I'm also going to record it in a different device and upload it for a different content while also adding on to this content that we're doing right now. So
that's all internet bullshit. Internet bullshit.
And obviously, Aljamain Sterling made his featherweight debut today against El-Kheer. While the fans didn't find it the most aesthetic pleasing, I want to just get your thoughts on his debut at 145.
Anytime you move up weight.
all right, so you know what? This is what I'll do. Okay. I'll wait. Hold on. Let's see. Wait. Let's wait for Dana White before I start this content.
Not a fan favorite on UFC 300, but moving up in weight and taking on a tough, gritty guy like Calvin is always a good win.
Speaking of fan favorites on UFC 300, I know you've been a part of many great fights and moments. Where do you rank those final 10 seconds between Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje amongst the moments you've seen?
The whole fight, let alone the 10 seconds. But the last 10 seconds is the type of Arturo Gatti shit that I always talk about that fight fans love. There's a reason that people love Gaethje and Holloway the way that they do, and that's it right there. When you're a fight fan, that's like a dream. Two guys like that squaring off and facing each other. Broken nose, fucking eye pokes, legs all busted up. Guys way out ahead. There's no denying who, you sit there and go, Holloway won this fight. He said, let's do it. Let's go right in the middle. And they both do it. You'll see a lot of guys that'll go, oh, we're going to go right in the middle. We're going to do this. And then the fight starts and maybe not. Right? And there's a lot of guys that try to do the, come on, let's go do this.
Yeah, that's true. Very few people are willing to do that.
It's just, you couldn't script that. If you saw it in the movie, you'd call bullshit on it.
Last one for me, I see you're wearing the
Yep.
UFC PI Mexico shirt. They just announced the UFC Academy over there with 19 athletes from Mexico and Latin America representing. So how big is that for the next step of continued growth in MMA out there in Mexico and Latin America?
Yeah, it went really well down there. The combine that they did, and basically the team that worked down there in the combine came back and told me, holy shit, wait till you see what's going to happen down here in the next couple of years, which I already knew. Yeah, it's incredible. I'm really looking forward to the future with Mexico. Thank you.
Talk a little bit about that last 10 seconds, Justin and Max.
Yeah, that last 10 seconds is probably going to be the most historic 10 seconds of all of UFC's history, if not all of MMA.
Like his longevity and what he did.
Yeah, great point. Great point. And again, two more warriors that went out tonight and just went for it. And yeah, he was on a bad receiving end of that Bobby Green fight. I just saw a picture of him in the hospital right now. His face is not good. Yeah, there's going to be some people that are sore over the next couple of weeks, man. Everybody showed up tonight.
And I talked to Islam Makhachev a few weeks ago, and he was very adamant he just wanted to fight you first. He didn't care who. Did you have the Poirier fight done coming into tonight, or was there a possibility if one of these lightweight fights went smooth and those guys wanted to turn around? Were they in the running?
There were a couple other options, yeah. We were looking at other people too.
And I appreciate you dropping PFL to our actual point.
Yeah, thank you.
Dana, to your right.
Yeah.
The pacing of all the way over.
Hi.
Hey there. The pacing of the show was a little bit different tonight, and I suspect it's because you had an enormous level of advertisers that were being crammed into the broadcast. Can you compare maybe 200 to where you are now, and how?
So now they're trying to compare UFC 100 to 200.
It's gone a little bit slower.
Really?
It's got a little bit slower.
I had them. Have you ever been to a boxing event, ma'am?
Listen.
There's fucking 45 minutes to an hour between fights. The walk-in is an hour and 15 minutes. The list goes on and on. I thought that the pace of the show tonight was.
Well, wait just a second. Need to use the restroom.
Any other night. Obviously, we have advertisers and commitments that we have, but we keep pretty fast pace. Sponsors UFC in 7 years. So obviously, the early days of building
All right.
the sport are a lot different than today. I mean, and that's one of the biggest pieces of growth for the company has been sponsorship. It's massive and continues to grow.
Just one more for me. So we're talking about having UFC in the sphere for Mexican Independence Day weekend. Recently, Matchroom has floated the idea of perhaps bringing Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano as a rematch into the sphere, maybe as early as June. How do you feel about that? And I know that it's been a big deal to be the first combat sports operation to go into the sphere.
I love Eddie Hearn. I consider him a friend. Ain't happening. Sorry, Eddie. Love you, buddy. You can go in the sphere in October.
Dana, down here. Dana, you said earlier this week that you think that in the future you eventually will be able to talk this event.
Okay, so in 7 minutes from now, okay, if Dana White doesn't end, I'm going to start my reaction to that right wing online host or conservative host, whatever you want to call him, that went after me and Jake Shields. I thought it's quite an entertaining content, so we'll take it from there.
We have nothing done yet, but I pretty much said already we're going to Manchester. We don't have a deal done. We don't have anything done yet, but we're going to Manchester. And let me just remind you all what it's like to be in Manchester. One of the greatest events that I've ever been to was when we first went into Manchester. That place is awesome. The fans, the crowd, I'm looking very forward to that.
But that was at 3 o'clock in the morning. Will it be a normal time in the UK?
We don't have a deal done yet. I don't know anything yet. Thank you.
Dana, currently Willie and Yan's fight attract over 30 billion views social media back in China. From your perspective, 30 billion views among social media. So from your perspective, how big is the fight? Impact to the Asian market?
Great question, sir. Where are you from?
From China.
I figured that, but where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Migu, China, Migu.
Okay, got it. So nobody knows better than you how hard it is to trend number one in China, right? We've been number one for 2 days trending in China.
Wow.
Which is unbelievable.
Number one for 2 days.
This was a massive sporting event in China. This is like the
Okay, so 5 minutes, I'm going to go into that content regarding the conservative host going after me and Jake Shields, okay? 5 minutes.
Just follow up with the question, it's like, probably not this year, but how soon you want to bring the UFC back to China after?
Yeah, somebody asked me that earlier. I don't know exactly when we're heading back there, but a night like tonight doesn't hurt, and yeah, it's all good. I'm excited.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, sir. One more, last one.
I want to ask you about the in the entertainment environment with the bracelets and everything that everyone on their wrists and everything like that with lights going along with the show, the atmosphere and stuff like that. What did you make of it?
I made it. What's the question? What did I make of it? I made it.
In terms
That's what we do.
Your expectation versus the reality of it.
It was awesome. So you know what I did during one of the fights? People always ask me this question. I watch the monitor. I watch very little of the actual live. I'll look up every once in a while, and I'm on my phone the whole fucking time. People think I'm like I don't give a shit about the fights. All I care about is the production, the live production in-house, and the television production. So tonight, I left during one of the fights and came back to my green room and watched it. We have a big screen back there, and I watched it on TV. And with the lights and all, it was incredible. It looked incredible on TV. Just like I always say about Power Slap and obviously UFC, the production is incredibly important to me. It's the only things that I really focus on a daily basis is finding.
All right, so 3 more minutes, and then I'm going to get to this content.
Right
so
time.
Dana White really has to end this now so I can get to this content ASAP.
In-house production and live television production. So that's what I focus on literally every day in the office. And other little bullshit here and there, but that's my main focus. So when we have an event like tonight, and you look at young talent that's on the card tonight, how they performed, how the thing looked in-house and how it felt, the energy and the buzz, and how it looked on television, right? And then you look at the fights that delivered tonight. You couldn't have a bigger fucking home run than tonight. So I hope I answered your question.
You did. And a quick follow-up about Dreykus. He was seen in the crowd and everything like that. Do you have any plans on where you're going to have him, who he's going to fight, if it's going to be Izzy or the winner of Whitaker, Chimaev, anything like that?
We're working on it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
All right, so thank God Dana White had gotten that done quickly. So within about just 2 minutes from now, literally from this time frame, on the 90-minute mark of this particular content, I'm going to go talk about a reaction that I'm going to do. I'm not going to do a full video reaction to this for the simple fact that, well, quite frankly, I don't want to get any copyrights on this particular content or anything like that. But I am going to play the audio. Not normally the way that I would do if I was, let's say, operating on StreamYard, where I would just play the exact video in and of itself. Hold on, Max is on right now. We'll just pause for Max. I'll react to Max right after, and I'm going to do this content right now. And yeah, so I'm going to explain a little bit of the context to this one. So while you're watching this, you are probably watching this right now at the 89-minute mark of the live video covering UFC 300. But for this video, I'm going to talk about a reaction regarding, well, an online conservative host that sort of responded to me, but more so responded to Jake Shields. And in that aspect, he also sort of compared me to Jake Shields based on what he perceives is similar political opinions. Now, here's the thing, right? I know who Jake Shields is. I've seen him fight for a long time. We have mutual friends in the combat sports realm. Okay, he's came around Sacramento, trained out here. A few of our guys have came and trained out to their gyms with the Scrap Pack with Nick and Nate Diaz and whatnot. So again, Northern California MMA is a really small community where everybody knows everybody to a certain extent, right? Now, do we all share the same political views? Absolutely not. This is one of the most beautiful things about mixed martial arts and boxing in general, or combat sports in general, is that there is an old meme that goes, boxing gyms and MMA gyms are the only place where you have cops and criminals and people with felonies and people of different backgrounds, rich and poor, come together and train to either better themselves or to learn self defense. So, again, these are one of the things I guess I wanted to bring out in full context before I bring out this video. So, this fella, his name is, his name's Matt Spear. Okay, he hosts a show that, by the way, I'm a big fan of. And here's the thing, right? You'll start off with this audio. He's going to talk about how I am somehow kissing his butt or whatever, but then behind his back, I go and trash talk him or something to that degree. Which again, I completely disagree, just based on the fact that just because you disagree with somebody, it doesn't mean that what you say about them isn't genuine. Okay, just because you like their idea, or you like what they espouse, or you like that they are outspoken, and maybe sometimes you don't agree with everything that they say, it doesn't mean that you are talking behind their back or anything like that. But he goes on to say this while also comparing my political views to Jake Shields, which I think is, well, of course I'm going to disagree with it, but I'm going to tell you why. So here it is.
Think you know, and what you actually know are two different things. Why am I coming down so hard on you? Why am I? Because I've read your.
Well, you can come down as hard as you want on anybody. Quite frankly, I mean, it's not going to affect my life one way or the other. But again, I think you understand that we all have differing opinions on things. So more on this guy.
Your bullshit that you've put. I've read how you treat Jews. I've heard the shit you said about me, you little fucker.
Okay, so again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. He's saying that I said something about him. This is what I said. One of his moderators on his show, I hit him up and said, hey, listen, I heard Matt say in this one show that, well, there are people out there that do online shows or something and they look like they're all right, but they're really not. And I was thinking, is he talking about me or is he talking about maybe other people that he knows? Obviously, I'm not going to be the only person that he knows that does an online show, nor am I even the biggest online show out there, really far from it. But obviously, it was just an honest question that I asked one of his moderators. Now, I don't know how his moderators took it. Obviously, they went and told him, which I don't have a problem with, but apparently he takes it as me somehow talking bad about him behind his back or backbiting him, and perhaps correlating that to the fact that I have a differing opinion than him and somehow making all of this cluster together uh as some sort of indication of my personality or my honor or some sort. But moving on.
And you think that I don't know? You don't think I know?
I It's not that I don't want you to know. It's not a secret. What I said about you, I said in good faith, but I've also said in objective reality, but I also said in an honest question of really out of curiosity to a question that I had, which was, hey, was this guy talking about me in one of his online shows? And if not, then that's fine. I'll just move on. And that's exactly what it was. It's exactly what his moderator said. And I never really thought much of it after that. But moving on.
Oh, the shit you said about me, but you suck my dick all the time and say how great I am and I'm your buddy and read this and read that, but you talk.
Yeah, just because I like your ideas and just because I think that you're a brilliant human being, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to criticize you or I'm not going to have any curious questions about what you say or whatever misinterpretation I may have.
Talk shit about my back. The worst thing you could have fucking possibly done was pretty much, in not so many words, call me a Jew lover.
So once again, he wants to make this about that particular subject, which I don't know why. The bottom line is, here's the reality of it. I don't hate anyone. I don't have a hatred in my body for any specific person or anything like that. Now, for you, if you think that because I talk a certain way or because I express an opinion a certain way that somehow it shows hate, well, that's your own subjective reality versus mine.
How fucking dare you? So you can keep pretending, you two-faced piece of shit, that you're my biggest fan and you love me and Matt's so badass and Matt's so tough because he faces people. Well, I just
Yeah, that is a great thing about you. What is to not like about that? And you are a badass. Oh, but you know what? The badass here also goes and calls and challenges me out. Okay. Well, we'll see.
faced
You'll
you and
see.
you're not much of a fucking challenge. I don't care how MMA you think you are. And if you want to challenge that side too, show up at my front fucking door, roll the dice and find out.
Look, that's all tough bravado talk. You know that's not going to happen. I live in California. You live in Virginia. And you can come to California. That's one thing. But for me to go to Virginia, well, other than going to Washington, D.C., or going to the East Coast or anything like that, look, I don't know what reality I would have where I would show up at your house and somehow try to street fight you over an opinion of something. And look, here's another thing you got to understand too, right? You got to understand this is the online world. We live in a real world. Now, by the way, here's one thing that I also highly respect about Matt. He comes from California. Okay. And if you know anything about California, you live out here, people out here live real lives. And when I mean real lives, you know exactly what I mean by real. Look at my shirt right here. I have blood stains on my shirt. Okay. I'm not going to talk about why. This had something to do with tonight. Put it this way, it has nothing to do with any of you online for the bottom line of it. People out here live real lives that most of you may not understand, but Matt, being from Ventura, where he was originally from what he said, this is something that he would understand. So there is no online beef or online problems with anybody. If I like you, I like you. If I have a taste for your particular content and because I think that you're brilliant, that's what it is. But if I'm also going to criticize you, I'm also going to criticize you, and it has nothing to do with hate. It has nothing to do with backbiting. It doesn't make me think any less of you. It doesn't make me a two face for having an opinion on what I think is right about you, but also an opinion on what I think you may be wrong at, or just a contrasting worldview that we may have. And by the way, for those of you that are just joining this on the live portion of this content, just know that this man is talking to me, but also talking to Jake Shields. So I think that this is interesting for you guys to take a look at.
And your comment that I'm a Jew lover so much, and so
I never said that. I never said that you're a J lover or a lover of any kind, nor would it even matter who you love or don't love. It's not a concern of mine. I don't have a problem with anybody loving anybody. But for some reason, there's some sort of fixated mission towards, I don't know, making it about this for one reason or another. But again, it's like just because we have a care or some sort of concern for people in Palestine, whether you think that they're all terrorists or whether you think some of them are terrorists or this and that, the bottom line is none of us have any support for terrorism. Now, obviously, you say this about Jake Shields. I can't speak for Jake Shields. Just because we know the same people or something like that, or know the same mutual people because we're from the same region of Northern California, it doesn't mean that I espouse the same views as he does, or somehow if he espouses an insane view, that somehow that should be somehow indicative of who I am as a person. But anyways,
many words, you hate Jews.
no, I don't. And again, it's not fair for you to go out and say that when I can't go out and defend myself, because guess what? While you were talking about these things, I got to be honest with you, I was out there literally living my real life. Okay? This is real life California. None of this stuff online is real beef. I don't have real beef with anybody from Virginia. Do I have beef with people from New Jersey? Oh my goodness, 100% yes. But you know what? These are real people. These are people that are actually within my proximity and people that I've grown up with and people that I've had real conflicts with. So this idea that I hate you or I'm backbiting you, well, I don't think that at all. And you know what? Just because I think the world of you and I think that you're an awesome person because you're obviously a brilliant, high IQ'd human being who has had these high positions in the military and has something to say, it doesn't mean that I hate you or I hate anybody or somehow have this nefarious actions towards defaming you in any kind of way behind your back.
And the thing is, you probably don't know any of them.
So you say that I don't know any Jews? I highly doubt that, considering that I live in Sacramento and a lot of them here are locksmiths. I'll leave it at that. For those of you that are in Sacramento, you know what you know.
Anything else, big guy?
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, to my channel and Matt's channel as well, because it is a great channel. I listen to it. Obviously, you don't have to agree with what anybody says to you, but guess what? This is the name of his show. Don't unfriend me. Why? Because people are going to be friends online, but it doesn't mean that they have to agree. And guess what? Don't unfriend me. But like and subscribe to my YouTube channel in the meantime, will ya?
I didn't fucking think so.
And because I don't respond quickly enough to his own requests at that particular moment of time, he, of course, brings up the bravado of saying, well, I don't think so. Well, that's what I thought. Ha ha. Okay.
Is it Roman? Huh.
So, what is he referring to when he was saying it's Roman? So, basically, he's talking about the history of Palestine and the meaning of it. Yes, we know that the word Palestine really has nothing to do with any biblical or Quranic history or anything like that. And we know that it comes from the Romans. I'm not disputing that. I don't know why he thinks that I'm disputing this just based on a certain worldview that I have of certain things. But
Were you up in the room? You going to bed?
okay, this is the part where he's
Jewish and
talking to
Israel
his kid.
comrade.
No,
And
hold
you
on.
are.
This is part where he's talking to his kid. This is let me just
Hey,
forward
I know you
this.
don't feel Jewish and Israel comrades. Comrades? Jewish and Israel.
Okay, just wait a second. Here we go. All right.
Hey,
Okay, so
I
he's
know you
back.
don't feel. Do you need anything from me? Uh-huh. Oh man, I'm sorry. Hey, would you do Dad a favor before you go? We could need just some water from the table. Thanks, pal. I will tell her, buddy.
All right, so now
you
he's
know
back.
I'm not anti. Yeah, you are. You're absolutely fucking it. You know what? Let me give you a bigger.
All right, so I'm basically responding to him here on the chat saying I'm not anti anybody. I don't hate Israel. I don't hate Jews. I don't hate nobody. I don't have any espouse feelings towards these people or anything like that. Now, do I have an opinion on certain matters? And who doesn't have an opinion on this matter nowadays? And it's very controversial at that. You also have to understand that a lot of people are just going to either not like you or like you based on these opinions. And this is one classic example of that.
Target. Yeah, you are, Ant. Yeah, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay, well, tell me why.
Just because you served in Israel doesn't mean, yeah, here you go. Why don't you just repaste the shit?
So this is what I said to him. I said, listen, just because you had served in Israel a long time ago, okay, I'm basically saying to him that you may have had Jewish friends and Israeli friends at that time, but I'm basically trying to tell him, well, I live in Sacramento right now. I'm around them. And the point that I'm trying to make here is I'm not trying to flex on him saying, well, I know more about the conflict more than you or this and that or whatever. It has nothing to do with any of that. I'm basically merely saying that, look, I have friends that are of this denomination and I don't have a problem with them. That's all that I'm saying. And in comparison to mine, all that I'm saying is that you don't live close to them. And by the way, that's not a knock on him in any kind of way, because this is literally something that he had said previously in his own show.
You already said, just because you served in Israel doesn't mean you're only on the Jewish and Israel comrades. Comrades? I live in Sacramento, and it's been years.
Yeah, so he basically says comrades, like he's surprised that I said comrades. Like, okay, I didn't mean it in any kind of way. It's another way of saying homie, mate, friend, buddy, but whatever. I think he's over that, and I think he understands that part. But moving on.
Since you haven't been around Jews, how do you know where the fuck I've been?
I don't know where you've been, but you've told me in one episode where you live in a place in Virginia where it's mostly white. Now, you didn't specify what kind of white, but uh, how am I supposed to know that some of them were Jewish and some of them were not? And by the way, he even goes on to explain the kind of neighbors that he has, and none of them are Jewish, which sort of proves my point that I'm around more Jewish people than you, and that's really what it is. But, anyways,
How do you know where I've been?
I don't know where you've been.
When's the last time I was in Israel? Educate. Why don't you tell me more about me?
I don't know where you've been in Israel, but what you said is that you've served in the military from the time of the 90s all the way to the just right before the war on terror started. So you do the math in my own estimation how long you've been there now. Have you been there as a civilian? Have you been there since then? Have you been there under some sort of contractor type of guise of some kind of way? Maybe, but I don't know that. I'm not here pretending that I know one way or the other.
Tell me more about me. When was I in Israel? When's the last time I've been? I'll wait. When's the last time I've been in Israel? I don't know about Jason. I'm done with Jason. Fuck Jason. Jason's lightweight. I want Carrie.
Me. Basically, he's saying forget this guy that he was arguing with previously. Now he's found a new person in the room to pick on. Here I am.
I want Caillou to tell me when's the last time I've been in Israel. What year?
Well, you got Caillou right here, and it's Kyrie for your own information, but that's neither here or there. You could call me whatever you want.
Can you please tell me the years I was in Israel and in what facet and capacity I was there? Thanks, brother man. Love you. Good night. Will you get the cat? Will you feed her, please, or something, or make a rug out of her? Go out. Go with her. Go with her. She's about as scared of me as nothing. What years? When was I in Israel? Hey, let me ask you another question, big guy.
So he makes this about when was he in Israel or this and that. That's not my concern. And you know why that's not my concern. All that I'm merely saying is that just as you've had Jewish friends based on your military service trying to help them over there, I've also had my own Jewish friends over here in Sacramento and even in New Jersey, in a place where I grew up. That is all I'm merely saying. If for those of you can't understand this miscommunication that's going on,
we can do it like Harry Carey. Hey, I'm just wondering, do you know Jesus is a Jew?
To what context do you mean that he's a Jew? Do you mean that he's a Semite? Okay, we can agree to that. Sure. Semite, yes. By Jewish, do you mean that he practiced the most current religion that is of the Tawhid monotheism at the time of when he was in service during Jerusalem? Sure. There's nobody that disagrees with that. They always use this idea that, like, well, okay, Jesus Christ was a Jew or he was a Semite. Well, nobody is really disputing that. I don't know why that's a point that they have to make, but either way.
Did you know? Oh, we already did the drone attacks. Don't worry about that. We've already done that shit. We're switching gears. Matt,
so earlier in the show, obviously, just like what I find him to be very interesting about is that, guess what? there has been a drone attack that had happened in Israel due to the Iranians, right? And obviously, with a news like this, okay, you don't want to go to Fox News, you don't want to go to CNN, you don't want to go to Al Jazeera, you don't want to go to any of these places, but you'd want to go to this guy. And I'm being honest and I'm being sincere about that. And this is not kissing butt or anything like that. I'm literally telling the truth. And I don't know why he doesn't understand the objectivity of understanding, like, yeah, of course I'm going to go to you for this particular information because guess what? You're a person that is of learned knowledge to this subject of matter at hand. And of course I should be listening to you at this, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with everything that you say or somehow show the same type of loyalty that your moderators show to you without disagreeing with some of the things that I may not agree with. But either way,
I'm not getting emotional, bro.
so I wrote basically on the comment section why he's saying I'm not getting emotional, bro, is because I felt like, well, look, we're just having a difference of opinion, and you're spewing all these emotions at me based on whatever type of dickhead move that you've witnessed me do or say to other people, which you somehow think is indicative of a correlation to one's political thought process.
There is nothing, and even if I am, there is nothing that is wrong with getting emotional with facts.
There is nothing wrong with getting emotional with facts. Well, let's analyze that for a second. Is there anything wrong with getting emotional with facts? Probably not, right? Especially if you feel that you're right about something, as long as it's correct. But here's another thing that you also have to understand. I know what you mean when you say something to the effect of, well, these Palestinians could have moved out instead of staying, right? I understand that. But it's also a fact that some Israeli soldiers didn't have to do what they had to do and go too hard on these people to the point where you may have killed some innocent people and may not have known the differentiation. That's also a fact. But guess what? I'm not being emotional about. However, there's going to be people that are going to be 10 times more emotional than me about this particular subject. But just like you said, there's nothing wrong with being emotional as long as it's a fact.
Nothing at all.
Nothing
Maybe
at
you
all.
can't do it, but I can. I've been doing it for years. I'm not emotional. I think you're an asshole.
That's your own subjective opinion. And if you think that I'm an asshole, again, remember, we're talking about online. Remember, bro, we live a real life off of online. Okay? So just understand, okay, with the blood stain that I have on my shirt, understand this. There's real life situations that are going on here in this world. Okay, there's real life situations. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not that disclosive to other people about everything that goes on in my life. But, bro, you think that I'm an a hole because of the things that I say online? I'm okay with that. They say that about 45 as well. They say that about Donald Trump, but we all know what happens from there.
I think you're an asshole. I think you're a two-faced dick who talks shit behind my back and can't.
And I never talk smack about your back, which is why I'm making this video to simply explain to you exactly what it is that I meant with everything and my true intentions about everything and what it is that I'm trying to do when I'm asking questions to your moderators, when I'm asking questions to you, but also I state one specific opinion on one particular topic, and then you make everything about every small thing that I've done or said to someone as somehow proof of my own personal or character flaw.
Back it up. Who's not man enough to call in and actually back it up?
So he's asking me to call him in while I'm watching UFC 300. Man, I've called in your shows plenty of times, and look, we've had face-to-face conversations. I'm not afraid to get on camera. I'm not camera shy. I obviously do content like you, uh, and get on camera like you, and do videos like you, do lives like you. I'm not afraid to go do these things. Remember, bro, online versus real life. This is not real beef. This is not real conflict. And quite frankly, I don't want any conflict with you. And if you did, I don't even know how we would make that happen. in a realistic world, let's be honest. Would somebody like you be willing to come out to California? Okay. But if you did, I think you'd have a different discourse than what you think. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why this guy is in this, combative mode for whatever reason. I don't know if it's, partially PTSD. I don't know if it has something to do with whatever has happened to him in his past or whatever, but he seems to be very combative with anybody that has a different opinion than him. And obviously, he doesn't know how to differentiate that because he thinks that I'm somehow being a two-face, pretending to be his biggest fan, but at the same time talking behind his back. No, that's not what it is. Literally, I respect your opinions, I respect your takes, but just because I have a different opinion, it doesn't mean that I'm two-faced. Look, what he's really upset at is that I called him an entertainer. And I'm going to elaborate more on that in a second and really gives you the haps on that particular instant of why I said that he's an entertainer and why I didn't really take it as such an insult and why he shouldn't take it as really an insult either. But, anyways,
I tell me when I've been in Israel. You said yourself you don't live around Israelis. I never said those words in my life. Show me the episode. Show me when I said it. Show me which.
well, you have said it. And again, just like what I said to your moderator Lee, I said, well, obviously, I don't know which episode it is because you do episodes every day consistently as you should, which, by the way, is also a compliment because guess what? That's the same reason why I go out and put out content every day because you have to be consistent at this. So, again, not an issue, not a way of disrespecting or dissing anybody, but moving forward.
Article I ever said I don't live around Israelis. I didn't say. I said this area isn't predominantly full of Jews.
So you said that this area is not predominantly full of Jews. Okay, fair enough. But where I'm at in Sacramento, it's a lot of Arabs, there's a lot of Middle Easterners, but in that same mix, there's also a lot of Jewish Israelis. And in the East Coast where I lived at, well, look, let me tell you where all this started, right? Basically, I said on the comment section of this particular show that he just did, where I said, the majority of Israelis come from Eastern Europe. Is that really a lie? Or were a lot of them indigenous to that land? Okay, are indigenous Moroccans that are of Jewish descent. There are indigenous Lebanese that are of Jewish heritage. There's a lot of Arabs that are of Jewish heritage in Egypt. Okay, but let's just be honest, are they the majority of Israel or is it the Eastern Europeans? Now, by the way, with that particular number, I'm not going to pretend to know one way or the other, but from what it seems like, a lot of the people that you have met that are probably Jewish people that are from Israel or have claimed Israel are all of Eastern European descent. Now, guess what? How about the locksmith guys that I know out here in Sacramento, right, that are of Jewish heritage, right, that actually came from Israel? A lot of them do have a Middle Eastern background where they have a Moroccan background, but they're Jewish. They have a Lebanese background, but they're Jewish. They have an indigenous Israeli background, and they're from Israel or whatnot. That's literally all that I mean when I say that, okay, I mean, and you said it yourself right here. You don't live in a predominantly Jewish area. But again, how many of them are in the same number of Jewish people that you've lived with in Israel when you served there? But anyways,
It doesn't mean that I don't live near Jews. It doesn't mean I don't spend time with Jews.
But here's the thing that you have to understand. Once again, this is talking about online versus real life. Once again, real life versus online. I don't know what you do in your real life. You can only show what it is on your social media platforms and whatnot. But other than that, I don't know everything that you do. So again, you're asking questions that I don't have an answer to, nor did I claim to know, other than just the small stint of information that you disclose to the world.
When's the last time I was in Israel? In what facet and capacity? You're a pussy. You're a pussy.
Yeah, of course. Every time somebody insults you for whatever reason they have in an argument, I mean, that really just tells you a lot about their argument. And then, of course, he goes into, oh, you're a pussy or this and that. Like, again, man, you're an online character. We're not going to meet in real life unless you're really compelled to do that. And at your age and whatever it is that you have going on in my life versus what I also have going on in my life, I don't know how that's really a reality if you really want to talk real, especially when you know you and I live real lives and, quite frankly, real conflict beyond people that disagree online.
You can't even defend yourself. Guys like you, man. The reason why you guys go in the MMA is because you don't have the sack.
Listen to this. This is the best part right here. What he says, the reason why you guys go into MMA. Well, did it ever occur to you that people go into MMA because they actually love it? Like this idea that, okay, people go into MMA because there's some nefarious reason or some sort of whatever psychological default. You want to know what? Unfortunately, he is right about that. There are a lot of guys that are screwed up in MMA. We can't deny that. There's some realities to that. There's a lot of people that go into the sport because they've gone through some real traumatic things in their lives. But it's not like this fella hasn't gone through some traumatic things in his life either, right? But somehow he makes it a low hanging fruit argument that because we're in MMA or involved in the sport or somehow covering the sport or competing in it, that there's whatever reason that he can attach to just because we don't agree with his worldview.
Have to do it in real life. So you go and pretend fight. But when it comes down to it, you're a fucking coward. And that's on you, man. That's not on me. Don't put me in your box.
Again, I think if you think that being a non-coward has something to do with serving your country or serving in the military, okay, that's on your own metric and how you want to measure it. Again, not everybody is going to have the same measure of metrics. Hey, you don't know if I feel that same way about you or whatever, but I don't know, man. It's a weird metric to measure, but I suppose again, this is a guy that will just go at anything that has a low hanging fruit, and really, that's just what it comes down to.
Serve my country. I did my time. And I don't want a medal for it. I don't want an award for it. I don't want recognition from it. But what I don't want is some poser to come in and question me who has done nothing of service for anyone else other than themselves.
Okay, so he's saying that we only serve ourselves. Well, I don't know what to tell you. When you live in America, it's quite a self-serving type of nation, isn't it? Yeah, but whatever. I mean, anyways.
I just told you forget it. I'm done with you. You're done. Yes, you did. You just said it. You just said that I haven't. When have I been in Israel? Tell me what years. You know all about me. Tell me when it is.
First of all, when you said that you served in Israel with the IDF, you never specified which year. I'm only going off of what you said and basically using it as an example like, hey, you know what? You've had experience with Jews, so have I. This is my experience with them. Your experience is with the IDF. Mine is dealing with locksmiths in Sacramento. And I don't hate them. That's literally all that I'm trying to say.
Just answer the question. You just accused me that I haven't been to Israel in 20 years or 30 years. What years? What years? You tell me what years I was in Israel, and then I'll tell you what you said behind my back.
And so he's going to pull up the DM that I had of me and his moderator, okay, which, by the way, you'll find out it's not really all that nefarious to begin with, but somehow he makes it more than what it is. And you'll see.
I mean, you want to do this? You want to play high school bullshit? Let's go. That's fine. But I'm waiting. This is, well, see, the reason why there's divide in this country is because there's specific people who are trying to divide. This is a perfect example. Somebody who says something to your face and then behind your back goes and talks some shit. It's ridiculous.
Which again, I had no intentions of talking behind your back. I respect you as a man. I respect you for your accomplishments. I respect you for your knowledge. I don't have any nefarious reasons to talk behind your back other than the fact that I said that you're an entertainer. That's what you think is talking behind your back. I got news for you. Whenever you do content of any kind, I understand that your content is very real. I understand that it's real to the point where you give out information that is very valuable, but also information that is sometimes exclusive. I get that. But still, yes, people come to your page to be educated. I come to your page to be educated, to know more about things that I never knew of and look at nuances that I've never thought of. But it doesn't mean that we're not entertainers. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be entertained by what you said. What you have a problem with is the idea of what it means to be an entertainer or your own definition by its most negative context. And quite frankly, that's not my problem if you feel that way, but I meant no harm by it whatsoever.
There's no reason for this. I'm asking you a straight up question. And you won't answer me.
Well, guess what? I'm answering you now by literally playing this back and talk as if I'm talking to you because I don't know if I'll even have a chance to talk to you, but either way,
I'm still waiting. See, dude, the great thing is that I keep receipts. Oh, man. All right, let's see. Is this you? Is that you?
all right. So for those of you that don't know, um, this is on the. I'm gonna link the YouTube video on the description. Okay, turn to 2003. So 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 53 seconds of this video. I basically posted a picture, right? So he's reading from the person that basically shared it, okay? The person's name was Nisreen Kufkash, okay? Obviously, somebody that I don't know, just random people that are sharing random stuff online. It says here, we will never stop sharing. It's a picture of McDonald's and a Palestinian flag. Now, it doesn't show the entire context of it. What basically the article was saying that I shared there was saying that McDonald's had gone down in their business based on the protests that have been going on around the world, based on the pushback that has been happening to Israel. That's literally what the article is. He somehow correlates it as a way of negativity towards Israel in any kind of way when I'm just literally sharing a news of people saying that, okay, well, McDonald's stocks are going down because of the protests that people are having, saying that they're not going to buy McDonald's product. But I'm thinking, okay, well, yeah, I mean, all politics aside, I mean, McDonald's is probably the most unhealthiest thing in the world anyway. But either way, I don't even know if that's true or not. I just thought it was interesting, considering that, okay, well, if there's any truth to this, then okay, whatever. It's not going to change my life either way. I don't eat McDonald's. But if there isn't any truth to it, then all right, then I guess I'm just not going to go and share stuff that's not true or real. But somehow, because it's correlated with anything to do with Palestine or anything that somehow it's deemed, I don't know if they think it's threatening or offensive. I don't know what their mindset is on that. But anyways, here it goes.
How many years have I been there? Is this you? Free Palestine. Free Palestinia, the Roman word.
Okay, well, the person that I shared it underneath me, okay, that wrote that caption. I didn't write any captions on this other than just the share portion of it. So
You shared it. We will never stop sharing. You shared that? Was that you?
yeah, that's me. I did
Share
share that. I did share that. I did share that. What am I supposed to not admit that? Yeah, I shared that. I shared an article that said that the stocks of McDonald's are going down based on the protests towards Israel. That's all that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I never said that, oh, good on them. F McDonald. I never said any of that. I don't feel that way. I don't have any feelings towards McDonald's anyway. The only thing that I feel about them is that I know I feel rotten inside after I eat it because McDonald's is just not the healthiest food out there. But anyways,
Free Palestine? Just making sure we're on the same page. Was that you or is that somebody else?
no, that's me. 100% that's me. I own up to that.
I'm just asking questions, right?
You can ask all the questions you want. I'm here to answer them. Just don't move the goalpost when you get your answer.
When Matt said in one of his shows, these are people who do
This is the DM that I wrote to his moderator. He's reading it right now.
videos online, part of his dummy community, who are not all right, was he talking about me?
So let me explain the context of this, right? He said in one episode, hey, I've got some few listeners here. They do their own videos and they may seem all right, but they're not. And I'm wondering if he's talking about me. There's nothing wrong with asking that, is there? And then obviously, guess what his moderator said to me? He said, no, I don't think he would be talking about you. If he did, basically, in the words, paraphrasing it, he's basically saying, well, if he did, I'd tell you, but that's not the case. Well, okay. Well, if that's not the case, then all right, it's a non-issue. Then I never had a issue with Matt, other than the fact that he finds it offensive that I called him an entertainer. Anyways,
while back, he's consistent with his show. It's spot about a week ago or so. Well, that's why I asked if he's brought it up to you. He has this idea that just because I banter and trash talk online that I'm somehow not okay, as if this guy's isn't an entertainment business also. Is that you?
I did say that. That's exactly what I said. I said just because I banter, talk some smack online, turn up the personality to a level 10, to sort of garner views and attention. Yeah, I'm not I'm not lying about that. I tell you when I put on the professional wrestling face. I'm not lying about that. Because guess what? I mean, look, maybe you don't have to do that as much in political content, but in the world of MMA content, you got to have a little bit of that, right? People want just a little bit more than just the kicks and the punches and the storylines and the news breakdowns. More than anything, they want a little bit more than that. They want a little bit of flair. They want to get to know you a little bit. They want to personalize it. They want to attach you to a certain personality or a certain persona of some sort that they can get behind. That's all that I'm merely saying. And you know what, Matt? If that's not you and that's not who you are, then fair play to you. But that's not who I am. I'll admit that I put on for the camera. If you don't, okay, you're a man who can speak for your own. And if you disagree, and then that's your every right to disagree. I'm not going to argue with that. If you say that you don't put on, okay, you don't put on. I'm not going to argue either way.
Did you say that?
I did say that.
Questioning my sincerity, who I am. Is that you?
Let's see what you wrote here. Well, that's why I asked if he brought it up to you. He has this idea that just because I trash talk online and that's somehow not okay, as if this guy isn't in the entertainment business also. Haha. Yeah, that's what. Okay. I don't understand what is so offensive about that, but if he finds it offensive, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, obviously an apology is not going to be good enough for you, and you told me to shove it up my butt. as a result of that in the most vulgar way that you could explain it, because that's just how you express yourself in a vulgar way. But that's cool. I don't express myself in that kind of way. If you choose to do that, that's your own way, that's your own business, and that's that. But moving on.
You, is it? It looks like you, unless it's a guy named Karabunga, because I can't see the why. He has this idea just because I banter and trash talk online that I'm not somehow okay, as if this guy isn't the entertainment business also. What? Like I'm like, what do you mean? Like I'm a clown? Like I'm here for your fucking entertainment? Like,
Well, you're on YouTube. Not only are you on YouTube, you're also on Facebook. You're also on Spreely TV, which I mean is a TV deal in and of itself. So again, I'm sorry if I classify a spade a spade. We are sort of in the entertainment business. Yes, your entertainment is news. Your entertainment is fact driven. But in just my humble opinion, it's entertainment regardless. And this is literally what he has a problem with, other than the fact that he perceives me as some sort of Jake Shields fanboy of some sort, or somehow that espouses the same idea as him.
silly like a clown? Is that what it is? He's never said anything like that to me. I thought you were referring to a show. If you hear or see something like that in the future, bring it to our attention and I'll make a comment. I got a whole.
So that's what the moderator said. He's never said anything like that to me. If you do, bring it up to the show and I'll bring up the comment. Okay. When he said that, I said, fair play. Then he didn't. And it was the end of it. Just so you know.
Whole plethora of these, man. That's not you? Shall I go on?
Go on. Let's hear some more.
See, the cool thing about having my moderators is that they never know when someone's going to go ahead and question my integrity or start talking shit. So they catalog things. Because we never know when one of you yokels is going to try to take me to court.
I'm not here to do that. I'm telling you right now, I'm not the type that's going to go and try to take you to court. I don't have any reason to wanting to do that, nor do I have any intention of doing that whatsoever. First of all, man, I'm being sincere. I'm telling you the truth. I'm a fan of your show. I'm a fan of your show not because I think you have the greatest personality in the world, or because I think that you're the nicest guy in the world. Obviously, I'm not going to pretend I'm the nicest guy in the world either. But guess what? When it comes to talking about MMA, I know my stuff. When it comes to talking about geopolitics, you know your stuff. And because of that, I'm going to give you the proper respect as a result of that.
You never know. Do you want me to read the part about when you said about my experience with Jews and you lied and pretend like you know me? Yeah, that's part of what I said.
I never said, nor do I pretend that I know you in any kind of way. I don't know you. Uh, I only know what you say and what you disclose online. And again, remember, there's real life, okay, and then there's online. And online is not real life, and online is never real beef. And by the way, you grew up listening to gangster rap in California. You and I know that guys who are in that world have real life conflict with people in the streets and never with people in the industry or people online. And this is a clear example of that. You're not anybody that I'm ever going to really beef with online. For what? For what? Because you have a different opinion? Guess what? Millions of Americans and people around the world have a different opinion and also share the same opinion as you. Do I hate them? Do I think that I'm somehow compelled to backbite them for whatever reason?
Oh, okay. You know what? That's enough. That's enough for me. Because you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're the guy that said, oh, Matt, you would love it. Love it when Matt goes up. I love the information he gives. I love how honest he is. I love it. Blah, blah, blah.
I did say that. Yep. And he's reiterating exactly what I feel about him. And that's the God honest truth. But just because that's the God honest truth, it doesn't mean that I also can't criticize you on other things. Just like you do with Trump, just like you do with anybody else on the GOP, just like you do with anybody else on the conservative side, just like you do with Candace Owens, just like you do with the Hodge twins. By the way, the people that put you on the well, not put you on, but obviously inspired you and also gave you a shout out, which sort of helped your page and helped me recognize your page due to the Hodge twins. But either way,
your personal messages you've sent me.
what personal messages have I sent you? Other than today, I'll tell you the personal message that I sent him today. Okay? I'll tell you right now. This is what I said. This is what I said to Matt today. Before that, I never really said any. This is what I said to him. The first time I ever messaged Matt was all the way back in September, right? This was after I made a cameo on his September 19th show. Okay, so I said, "Hey Matt, thanks for the show cameo. I enjoy your show before, and it was even awesome to be a part of it. And then here's a link to my YouTube page. Basically, when I had started out with this YouTube page, I had like I think at the time 83 subscribers. Now I have 289. Yay!" But this is the last message that I said to him after I sent him my link, right? And he never responded back to me or anything like that ever since then. This is what I said. I said, "Matt, I want to explain something to you before you mistake in what I say again. That is, if you care to know. The truth is, what I said to Lee, by the way, the moderator that had relayed the message, calling you an entertainer was not meant to be an insult. It is bad to say. Is it bad to say that you have charisma, but it doesn't diminish the real knowledge you can contribute to the world?" That's all that I said. If that offends you, I'm telling you it's not an insult. If I felt like I was trying to backbite you, I would press Lee. I would be pressing Lee right now for even telling you, but I'm not because obviously I don't take it as a nefarious thing. So why am I going to be mad that Lee told you? I would be pressing Lee right now. "Oh, why did you tell Matt? Oh, you snitched on me to Matt." No, I'm not doing all that because guess what? If I had an opportunity to say it to you, I would. So I literally asked him to ask you if you referred this to me about a previous episode. He said it was really nothing, and Lee already said it wasn't about me. So it was really nothing more than to just question about what you said, and that was really it. It was a non-issue after he clarified what you meant, and that's all it was. Second, I also said, don't get it twisted just because I respect you and what you're about, that somehow I'm sucking you off. I'm really not trying to be disrespectful here. Just have a different opinion. It doesn't mean that I don't think the world of the knowledge that you bring to the world. Okay. You have every right to call me a dick. Okay. Because guess what? We all can be at times, and that's just the reality of it. But you don't have the right to lie to your audience with this bravado that you at 50 years old could take me in my own world. Okay, because you know what comments he said. "Yeah, if you want to challenge me on the MMA world too, yeah, I'll come to my front door." Like, I'm not going to come to your front door. You know what's going to happen if I hypothetically did? You'd call the cops, and rightfully so. But that's exactly why I'm not going to do that. And you would not sign any papers to take me on in any sanctioning matter at hand. So again, it's a dead issue. But anyways, this is not trash talk, my brother. I've beat up guys in a gym that are younger, more skilled, and in the unarmed department, and faster and even stronger than you. I understand I'm a dick, whatever that means, but please be humble about what you know and don't know. And because I've never pretended to know more than you when I never did. Okay, I never pretended to know more than this guy is basically what I'm trying to say to him. But anyways, let's continue on with his video here.
But then when you're behind my back, you question my relationship with Jews just now. You even question about my time working with IDF. When?
Well, I never question that. I said that you haven't been there for a long time, which is what I'm saying is that in this current moment of time right now, I probably have interacted with more Jewish people than you have. And that's all that I'm merely saying. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Was I in Israel? Just answer the question.
You know that I don't know the answer to that. I don't know why you're asking me a question that I don't know the answer to. I don't know when you've been to Israel because you never mentioned what year specifically you were there. You only said it in one of your stories, in one of your episodes. And so I'm relaying off of that. So, this idea that you want me to answer for whatever reason, I don't know what that proves, even if I knew the answer towards when you were there.
My mods capture everything because you want to know why? You know what's hilarious about this? They probably deserve an ungodly amount of money that I can't give them. Man, they are fucking loyal. They are so damn loyal.
And I salute you for that because guess what? You need to have loyal people on your side with whatever you do in life. And again, this goes beyond just this guy Matt or whatever. It goes just your life lesson in general. You need people behind you in whatever you do. But kudos to Matt for having those type of people. Hey, I know those same type of people. They're very nice people. I interact with them online. It's all cordial. It's all great. I don't have any problem or beefs with any of them. They show me respect.
And they protect me, and I don't know why. But man, mods capture everything because you want to know why? You know what's hilarious about this? They probably deserve an ungodly amount of money that I can't give them.
Just your life lesson in general. You need people behind you in whatever you do. But kudos to Matt for having those type of people. Hey, I know those same type of people. They're very nice people. I interact with them online. It's all cordial. It's all great. So that's part one of that particular content. Obviously, I'm going to upload that. But this is the part two portion of it as we end it. So hold.
I love them. I fucking love them because they're direct. And when I say something they don't like, they come and talk to me about it. And when I do something that's dumb, they tell me. And when they think I need to do something better, they educate me on it. And they're some of the best people I've ever come in contact with. And my listeners are the same way. It wasn't just Lee, because he's not the one that screenshotted those. I had multiple people say that you're saying anti-Semitic shit in groups.
Okay, so let me address that quote unquote anti whatever you said, right? I posted on that particular group uh Palestine Cola, and for whatever reason that offends people. I don't know why. There wasn't any captions behind it. But again, he compares me to Jake Shields, who, by the way, has real captions of what he means and what he says about certain people. Here, so here it goes.
That you're questioning my ability and my time spent with Jews, and that I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm in the entertainment business and I haven't spent any time with them.
I never said that. You can still be in the entertainment business and still know what you're talking about.
Whatever, so many years, because that's what the post said. And I'll go find that one for you too. So my question is, why don't you say that to my face? Because I love that you call me an entertainer. You really think that's what I do, huh? You think my show, if I was like you and I was anti-Semitic and I went on Twitter, that I wouldn't have 2 million followers overnight? Because I know what it.
Like me. Again, he calls what I don't know what he classifies as anti-Semitic, but here's another thing you got to understand too, right? I'm trying to understand this man from his own perspective, from a very objective point of view. Okay, I'm gonna go on, and I'm gonna show you what I
It
mean.
would take. All I got to do is lie to you. All I got to do is what Benny does to you guys.
Let's speed
That's
this
all
up.
I got to do is lie. All I got to do is post shit like this. Because see, here's the thing. I had this information. All I had to do was do what Benny did. Take this picture and say Benjamin Netanyahu's on this flight with his cabinet. And then, of course, say could be. And post some phony flight logs. Steal it from another page.
So in other words, he's showing a flight log right now of just some random Israeli plane ticket from an Israeli airline, and saying that, well, I could easily just take this and say, well, Benjamin Netanyahu was Okay, I get the point of what he means. So
Not give them credit, which is what Bennett did, and post it and say that Benjamin Netanyahu and his cabinet fled Israel like cowards. This got hundreds of thousands of likes. It garnered Benny a shit ton of attention. Did he detract it? No. Because here's the real story. Here's the real plane. And it hasn't fucking flown today. Because I got the flight log information, because I'm not the only person who has the ability to track flights and naval aircraft and every other type of vessel known to man, as long as it has an IFF transponder. This is not the Air Force One of Benjamin Netanyahu, and if he did go vertical, nobody would know. And he most certainly didn't go vertical. But this is what he does. He's an entertainer. So when you call me an entertainer, honestly, I'd rather have you call me an asshole.
okay, so now I'm understanding why you have a problem with the idea that you're being called an entertainer. Okay, either I understand now. I understand that your problem is that you're being compared to somebody that uses sensationalized yellow journalism. And with that, if that's what you're offended by, then I completely understand. But either way,
I'm not exaggerating. If you say that I haven't spoken to Jews or worked with Jews or been to Israel in so long of a time, you're making a subtle innuendo that I am uneducated on the topic or out of touch. Is that not right? So what do you mean you didn't say it? You just admitted you did. So now you say to me, I never said you don't know what you're talking about. You're exaggerating now, even though you just admitted that you said I didn't know what I was talking about. You're never good at this. You should stick to getting your shit kicked out of you. Seriously, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. You just openly said Matt hasn't in so such and such time, doesn't live near getting Jews, which is a lie. It's an absolute lie.
so then he goes on also to basically talk about Jake Shields' post and what he basically wrote, all the things. You guys know what Jake Shields writes online or this and that. Now, look, I don't necessarily agree with everything that Jake Shields says. I'm not one of these people that thinks like only one person or one group of people rule the world. All right. But I think I'm just going to leave it off that. But
you then said Matt hasn't been to Israel in such and such time. Therefore, you're implying that I'm out of touch or that I don't understand.
Again, what I'm trying to say with that is that I'm not a hateful person. I just happen to probably know the same people that you do. But moving on from that, let's go on with Max Holloway from here. I think that's just really enough of that. You could check out the rest of his show. I'm going to link on the description below or link on the next video coming up. Yeah, check it out and you'll see the rest. But here goes Max Holloway.
He had everything to lose. Everything to lose. He still took this fight. UFC 200, the biggest fight card for the next decade, probably. And to go out there to do what we did, you know, we both got paid, so I'm happy for that. And
thoughts on the
fans.
So Ramzak says thoughts on the Armin win. Well, I got to tell you, it was a hard fought win that he had against Armin, but at the same time, man, I think that it was really hard fought because it was everything that I had predicted. Now, going into this fight, I literally predicted and thought that perhaps Max Holloway was going to. I'm sorry, that Armin Sarukian was going to lose to Charles Oliveira based on the fact that he's just a lot more experienced. And the reason why I thought that he lost was for the same reason why the fight was very hard tonight. So
pushing him for this fight, Justin accepting the fight, getting my floor shorts, crazy championship like walks up. You know, it was just an amazing night.
Obviously, the end of the first round, that turning sidekick did a lot of damage to him, but then you kept throwing that throughout the night. Was that because of the success you had the first time, or was that something you keyed in on in the game plan coming in?
Justin just like when he stands still, he stay there. You know, or when he throw hard, he stay there. He's there to get hit. You know, and I was blessed enough to land that swing back hit, brother. You know, I think broke nose. I could hear Trevor in there being like, "Don't blow it out, go out." So I was like, "Yeah, his nose is broken," and I just knew fighting 20 minutes like that, you know, it's a tough thing. So I think so. It's being at altitude helped him a lot because, brother, any less of a man does not do what Justin Gaethje does, brother. That guy's he's made out of titanium, brother. I don't know what it is. He's a fighter.
The moment they lived in history course to finish, right? I mean, what's going through?
You think the kid has a chance against Makachev? After that performance tonight, I'm going to say no. But again, different performances vary on different nights, and different fighters come out different fighters on different nights. So, yeah.
Your head, right? Because you're clearly head on the scorecards at that point. We've seen you engage in the center like that before, but a guy like Justin Gaethje is even more dangerous than guys you've done in the past. What's going through your head in that moment? You're like,
this is the moment. This is what BMS is known for. You know, the baddest mother ever. First of all, I want to change the name to Blessed Man Forever. That's what the belt means when I hold it. Blessed Man Forever. But if that's not a BMF moment, I don't know what it is. If the
he's saying Blessed Man Forever.
I know he'll give me that 10-second shot. So he's a bad man.
So yeah, that's just a little bit enough about Max Holloway there. So yeah, that's really all that I have for the rest of the night. Obviously, it's been a real long night of fights and long night of breaking down that video that I had showed you guys with uh, that online host who basically got at me and Jake Shields for just difference of political opinion. I urge you guys to check that out. I'm also going to have that. I have that recorded on one of my other devices here that I'm going to upload on my YouTube channel. So be on the lookout for that as well. I'm also going to do a content on Ronda Rousey and her comments that she had made on the Diary of a CEO and my reaction to it and why I think that it's important to bring up, especially within the context of today's modern, 135 division, if not the entire UFC roster, and in terms of popularity, in terms of legacy, and all of the above. So that is really all that I have for tonight. I've really covered just about everything, including some of my personal online beef, if you want to call it that. But either way, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you guys soon, and I hope you guys enjoyed this content. I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your night. It was a great night of fights. I enjoyed everything about it. I hope you guys come back for more content in the future, and I will see you guys soon, inshallah.